very not red. I'm like,
Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Hello, 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 hello. It's the Pear of Geeks. Here we go.
I can't sing any higher. I can't sing any higher than that.
We are live.
Hello. We are indeed.
Oh my god, I haven't got a hat on.
Well, the stream is ruined. The stream is ruined. We do have beer though, and we have Patreons, and we have stuff to tell you about. Let me put my
It's all
phone
good,
away.
it's under control. Look, I've got a hat on.
Oh good, the
not
stream
the
can
usual
return
one.
to normal.
Yes. Welcome to Pear of Geeks, where I wear a hat every week.
It is kind of putting some shadow though on you, so there we go, that's better.
Okay, that's kind of... It is just a huge rim.
So this is Mrs. Hat, and I'm Jason.
My name's Becky Rose. I used to be known online in the RPG world as Dungeon Girl. And we've got chat on already.
We do. Hello, hello. So we got Nathan H, who's apparently got a bit of issues with work schedules being all over the place, but he says, great to see you both again. I'm so glad I get to finally participate in a live event. You certainly do.
Hello, Nathan. On holiday as well, I see. We're also on holiday.
Yes.
We actually only realised about 2 hours ago that we're meant to be doing a live stream tonight.
Realised.
You did,
I
yes.
realised.
I was just in holiday mode.
Yeah,
I need
we've
to
kind of
find
lost
an
track
angle.
of the days.
I may have to get a different hat, because otherwise I'll just be in shadow. I'll be a
Yeah,
dark,
we've got like
mysterious
a
stranger.
fan over
So,
there. That's
you catch up on the chat,
glowing
and then
and stuff.
what we'll do is
Yes.
we'll... I'm just going to get a hat, and then we can talk about what's in tonight's show.
Yes.
Right, hat.
Right, let's go through some of the chat. Obviously, some of this will be ours. As you can see, I said welcome back. And testing sound. And hello to Samwise, one of the veterans of the RPG community. So it's wonderful to have you on. And of course, we start talking about metal because both of us are into metal. And we have to do the guitaring and all that stuff. I'll just sort my hair out. Hey! Hello, Ben!
Is that Benjamina?
Yes, I wasn't sure if it was Baz using an account called Ben, or whichever one of the two, or if you're both like squeezed onto a chair together. But hello, nice to see you. We have beer. You're welcome to join. Although I know you don't really like beer.
I have a hat. Ugh. Oh, I had to run around the whole house.
Oh
And then I
no.
eventually found it. It
Slightly
wasn't
smaller
downstairs.
hat. Slightly
yes.
smaller hat.
You
Look
can
at
see
that.
my face now. Hello, Ronnie.
Hello, Ronnie. Yes, he awaits next year and the new Magnum album. Yeah, but in the meantime, there's so many more albums like Sabaton you can listen to, and
Ice Cream.
Rammstein. That's not a band.
Magnum is, though.
Oh, he's talking about the band.
I
Magnum.
know, and I just thought it's so hot in here, and you said Magnum, and I'm like, yes, please.
Yeah, but we're talking about metal bands.
Wow, the conversation moved on. Should we talk about what's on tonight's show?
Of course.
Okay.
I don't know if that's all the chat, by the way. I've just been sort of going through.
We'll catch up with it in a moment. We're going to do the whole RPG A Day. We do this every year on this channel, ever since RPG A Day first came out, back when this channel used to be just Dungeon Girl, and it's just me by myself.
A teeny weeny channel.
It wasn't that small.
Oh, okay. Okay, a
Maybe
baby
no.
channel then.
It was smaller.
Okay.
Probably had more views.
A teenager channel.
So anyway, I used to do RPG A Day as an entire thing. We've got buttons on the screen. Hang on. Let's fix that. What's happened here? That's not how I left it.
Huh?
When there were buttons on screen.
What buttons where?
I've removed them.
Okay.
Right.
I didn't even see what they were.
It was the YouTube and Clip.
Oh, right.
Right. So I always used to do RPG A Day as a one-time stream.
Yeah.
And so what is RPG A Day?
Well, it was a thing that started out 6 years ago, so it's the sixth year, if you will, and basically it's a way of starting conversations about your favourite RPGs, your sort of more favoured mechanics. It started off things like that, and quite often they've done like a question a day in every day in August, so you'd sort of like back in the day when there were video responses and stuff on YouTube, you'd make a video a day saying, well, my favourite character was this, or my whatever the question was, and then you'd video respond, and it was absolutely amazing. It was a great way of interacting with each other. There was a lot of traffic bouncing off. YouTube, this is what you've been missing for the past few years, because now video responses obviously have been obsolete for a while.
They have indeed.
There's a little bit of a twist with this year in that they're encouraging you either to talk, to post, but also to film things as well. So they're trying to sort of encourage you to do multimedia things.
Yes.
And also, it's not just a question a day this time. They're actually doing keywords, and they're not
just
saying
a single word.
Yeah, they're not saying what that is. It's up to you to interpret.
So we'll see how we do, because I haven't read them yet. But usually every year I'll do all of them on one day, which is really not the point. The point of RPG a day is to talk about RPGs every day,
Throughout
whatever
August.
medium you're on. And I've always not followed the rules, because I struggle with rules. Just
Unless it's coding, in which case you do rules.
by coding, Jason is referring to computer programming.
Yes, sorry.
Yes, which is my day job. So, he has just poured me a beer, which I'm so grateful for, because charging around the house twice to look for a hat has got me slightly hot. So we're going to be doing that. We're also, we launched a film this week.
We did.
We've done a film. We helped. Okay, so a year ago we helped some friends film a film, which you can find on Pog2. It's called The Estate Agent. It's one of the first videos on the Pog2 channel.
Oh my god, I forgot all about The Estate Agent.
It is a 30-second horror film.
Wow,
Well,
yeah.
this year we decided that we'd put a film together, and we roped those friends in to help us make our film. And it's a 3-minute horror movie, and it's part of a Rode Microphones competition. Now, I'm going to ask you all a favour. In the link of this description, so in the
description there is a link.
in the description of this video. There is a link.
There's a link.
To our film. We'll play the film to you in a moment. But there's a link in the description to vote for our film. We are currently 81st out of just under 1,000 films.
Which is pretty good.
Given that we've only had one day of voting since we put our film up, and some of those films have been up there for several months, that is, I thought, really epic.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, I don't expect we'll win. It's our first film, and I look at it and I see weaknesses and things that could be better. It's the first time we've done something like this. So, I'm not hoping to win, but to have a good sort of, be top 50 maybe. That would be awesome. Maybe if we could get onto the second page of search results, that would be like 32, top 32.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. It'd be really cool.
So all you have to do, go to the link. You have to sign up through email or Facebook. It gives you a choice, and then you just click on the vote button.
Or use your Google account that you logged into YouTube with.
or Google.
It takes a minute.
Yeah.
It's really quick.
It's really not
Just
very long
hit
at all.
that vote button, please.
Please vote
Because
for
we'd
us.
like to not do embarrassingly badly.
No, well, at the moment we're not doing embarrassingly badly.
We're not.
We're doing
Which is
pretty
great.
well, but we'd like to
Which
do
is
it a
great.
little bit better, if you please.
Yes, it would be awesome. So thank you if you do go and vote right
Yes,
now. That would
yes.
be wicked.
Before we do that, though, as in show the video, should we also thank some other people on our wall?
We should. We will do that in just a moment. But we need to finish talking about what else we're going to do this episode.
Yes.
And we are going to talk about next year on Pear of Geeks.
Yes.
So that will be coming up a little bit later. But yes, would you like to do the honours? Drumroll.
Yes, it's not quite in frame, that's the only
No, but we take it off the
thing.
wall, don't we?
We'll take it off the wall next to this lovely lady from Farscape.
She's barely on camera.
She's very on camera as well. Okay, so we have these most awesome people in the world who also happen to be our patrons. Thank you so much for your continuous support. These people are Russell Higgins, Joy Mangina, Ormba, Mark Threlfall, Brandon Fishwick, Dave Poirier, Fuke Enterprises, Phil Bates. Don't know why I skipped Philip Bates, because obviously I know who you are. Elizabeth Trey Practical and Nate Hanshan. Thank you so much. You help so much to keep this channel going.
And it allows us to do crazy things like decide we're going to make a film.
Well, yeah. And, get new equipment, keep us motivated, all this stuff. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cool.
Bottom of my heart.
Yes.
So, shall we quickly catch up in the chat and then start RPG a day?
Sure. Or do you want to play the movie first?
Oh.
It's quite short.
Well, I've just put up Samwise 7 RPG's question.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Sam. I need to pick up some new stuff. My collection is pretty dated. I am excited to see Iron Maiden at the end of the month, though. We're talking metal here.
Yes, Sam is a metalhead.
I am a metalhead. Hell, okay, let's talk metal. I've seen Iron Maiden. I have to say, I think it was, for atmosphere, one of the best gigs I've been to.
Okay.
Like, just the vibe of the whole place. I saw them at the Dome in London.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was just a feeling of happiness, like for like everyone there. Now, my one of my Dutch friends had bought the tickets, and she decided that because she wasn't a big fan of Iron Maiden, what she wanted to do was to sit down for the gig. So I had seats right up high at the back of the Dome. Now, if you've ever been there, those grandstands are steep. Like, really steep.
Yeah.
I was terrified getting to and from the seat, because it's like you stand up and it's like I could fall easily a long way. Because the way I kind of conquer my fear is, I think when I climbed that mountain, I climbed Snowdon to fear of heights and everything. And I think, okay, if I fall, I'm going to fall a couple of feet and then roll for 6 meters and come to a stop.
Yeah, I have a similar sort of thing.
This is how I cope with that kind of thing.
Whereas a drop, it's like, nope!
Yeah, but there was no way I would have stopped.
Yeah.
I was going to go all the way down. I was terrified. So I stayed seated the entire gig. But it did have a really great atmosphere. So yeah, it was worth seeing them.
I did not actually know that Iron Maiden were going to release an album.
They do every year. Pretty much. Maybe every couple of years now. Yeah, they're still releasing stuff.
Well, I'm not a massive fan of them, to be honest.
I got one of them. Well, I got the album just before that gig. But they didn't play Klansman, which was bitterly disappointing. And I have to say, I preferred Blaze Bayley as a singer to Titch. What's his name? The one I had a fight with. Bruce Dickinson.
Oh, yes. I forgot you had a fight with him.
I did. I had a fight with Bruce Dickinson. Ronnie says, try this one, Sam, and a link to a band. Let's go past that, because we can't watch that right now.
Volume is indeed sounding fine.
Musical. Okay, so this is also... We've just caught up to when we started the stream. Samwise 7 RPG says, it's been great seeing so much gaming chatter this month already thanks to RPG a Day. I love the open-ended format. Yeah, we'll see what we make of it when we get to these prompt words. Because I don't know how I'm going to cope with just a prompt word. But, there are Facebook groups that continually do those kind of video responses. There's the RPG video response community, which always put videos out.
Although they're on Facebook only.
Yeah, I mean, I don't often put anything there, if I'm honest.
No, me neither.
But I check it out occasionally. So there are kind of those kind of communities that sort of try to recapture what the RPG Brigade used to be, but none of them really truly do, I think. And the thing is, with Hangouts, Google Hangouts is closing now as well, so it'll never come back to how it used to be.
Why?
Time has moved on. It's all enterprise stuff. Hi, Phil.
Hi, Phil.
Welcome to the stream. So, let's quickly get this caught up. Hello,
hey,
Michael
B.
And Fugue Enterprises.
Fugue, hello.
Hello from Canada. Been watching the new RPG on POG 2. I like that everyone seems to be a typical race except Becca.
My lip is itchy.
You're not a typical race, though. You're a half-dwarf in that.
Yeah.
It's not just me being the prima donna.
Yeah, I get to do all the cool stuff of dwarfs, like dark vision and resistance to poison, but all the cool stuff of humans as well.
Yeah, well, I'm playing a race from Xanathars, so it's not... I think it's Xanathars, or Volos, I think it's Xanathars. So, yeah, it's not that non-standard. I'm not that much of a prima donna that I go up to a GM and say, right, you must allow me to have these house ruled races.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nathan says, hi Phil, hi Ronnie, hello everyone, and I say hello back to Nathan, even though I've already said hello, and Samwise says,
I'm all old and crusty.
lol. You're not. I remember you did a research post back in the day, and I did a video response to you, and I kind of did it all like fading as if you were a signal interrupting one of my videos.
Yeah.
It was quite cool.
Also, I imagine that you wash every day.
Well, I do. I can't speak for Tim.
Sam, because he says he's crusty, but I'm sure he's not. Phil B says I have beer too. Oh, good. We have a collaboration with Cloudwater and something, but they haven't written it on here. I can't remember who it is. It's called Team Meeting International, a double dry hot pale.
Right. I think
growler.
We're not succeeding in catching up with chat here, so I think we'll put it on the back burner for a while, and let's do the first week, which is 1 to 4, an RPG a day.
Well, are you sure you don't want to do the movie first, or shall we do the movie after the first week?
Let's do the first week of RPG a day, and then we're going to play you the behind the scenes, the making of our film,
our little movie.
Okay, so the first question is first.
So, like the YouTube comment. First. The first time I did a first comment was probably never.
No, I've never done one of those. Okay, so no, right. First is the word.
Sorry, that was a car crash.
Yes,
I know.
Thank you. So right, it's first time I had. No, I almost did the joke I told you before we came on air. I can't. That's instant. Not just demonetization, but. Actually, no. It would only be demon. Do we care?
Okay. How about first gaming group?
Oh, that's easy. I went to a role-playing club in my town. No, I'm going to take first as my first. Dun 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 dun. I don't know.
Well, this is going so well.
How about my first RPG telethon?
Okay.
I was always going to start with Complus. Shout out, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes, the first time I did an RPG telethon. So this was a 24-hour live stream on this channel, giving away RPG books and content and supplements and manuals and unique things like a signed copy of Pathfinder that was signed by everyone who worked on it and all that kind of stuff. And we did it all for charity, and it's called Complus, and we're doing it again in October, and we have so many prizes. We have absolutely knocked it out of the park. We've got it's a couple of hundred, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a couple of hundred prizes.
Couple of hundred.
That we will be giving away in a 24-hour non-stop RPG giveaway.
It's not that far away, mid-October.
It's not. Oh my gosh, we really need to sort stuff out.
Well, we will.
We will. So Complus 2 coming October to this channel. Do not miss it, guys. Do not miss it.
No.
That was my first. What about your first?
Okay. My first is the first campaign I finished, which was my Shadows of Esteren campaign, which was very much pulling from like Elvite, the band Elvite that does sort of dark Celtic folk metal and things. I put a lot of music into my campaigns. But it was really good. We had great characters. There was a lot of really nice role-playing in it. Even though the mechanics are quite streamlined already, there were a lot of times where there was sort of downtime because the horror was so massive and so sheer that sometimes even just something as mundane as catching a fish was actually really interesting and really exciting to role-play because it was such a contrast. It was a really nice experience doing that for those players.
Awesome. Number 2, unique, and I know what I'm going to answer for this. Okay. I'm going to go get it.
Oh, okay. Quite a nice segue actually from Shadows of Esteren, considering this is done by the same company.
By the same firm. This is my unique. because currently I'm
Should we
the only
hold it up to the
person
camera?
to have the English copy of this in the world.
I don't know if you're the only person.
I like to think I am. Don't tell me otherwise. So they've just completed the Kickstarter for this, and it's so what this is Fate Forge. This is a 5e game.
Mm-hmm.
So like rules, it's based on D&D 5e, but it is not 5e. It is a whole new game with loads of enhancements, loads more role-playing stuff. I did a character gen for this video for this
It's like
a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting, and I'm
that
loving
smell.
reading about it. Oh yeah, the fresh book smell.
Love it.
And it's I think it's a very unique system.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though it's based on 5e, it's enhanced and it's not 5e, and it has this wonderful feature that is the first time I've come across this, and now I've seen it, I'm like, everyone should do this. So, you know how you sometimes choose a different game to run a different type of different system to run a different type of game?
Yeah.
This has these icons here on the page, which I can barely show you and I can't reach, and the book is heavy. But I'll read them out. So, action, awakening, dark, gritty, intrigue, mystery, elusive magic, and dragon. And what these icons are, if you want to run an action game, use all of the rules that have the action icon. If you want to run a gritty game, use the optional rules with the gritty icon. It's really cool. And it's all the optional rule stuff, but tied to different themes and different ways you can play the game, which I think is fantastic. So that's just come out. It's called Fate Forge, and that is my unique at the moment because the English ones haven't sort of arrived in people's homes yet.
No, they have just finished funding. They got about 125,000 euros, I believe it was. So they did really, really well. Various stretch goals and so on were unlocked. You can pre-order, I believe, or no, not pre-order, do like a late pledge if you want. So you can still get involved in the Kickstarter. But yeah, I have not read it as much as you have, but from what I've seen, it is beautiful. It's a really beautiful
it's a very pretty
book.
I
really good
I
system
still think
as
it's
well.
the prettiest I've seen, but I'm not going to dwell too much on that. What I will say though is that you wanted to announce something which they've announced publicly.
Yes. So one thing that we talked about with them at Expo is if they reach 100,000 euros, then they will essentially donate to Complus. And as I've just said, they managed to do that, and it's wonderful because they kind of surprised us at the end. Like this is for you, and they sent us a link to the Kickstarter post where they announced this and how they're going to be donating to the charity. And it was such a nice surprise. I think I got it like really early in the morning. I'd just woken up, and it was just like another work day or whatever. I get this email through from them, and it made our day. It made our our week.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was amazing. So if you happen to be watching, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mel,
for
and
your
the
support.
team.
Thank you.
No, really means a lot.
Unbelievably
that
generous
donation is it's 1,000 euros, isn't it? That they're going to put in. I don't think they've got the money out of Kickstarter yet, or something. I don't know.
No, they've literally just finished. So
so it's not hit the charity yet, but hopefully that will do. So, do you have a unique, or did you do one? I can't remember.
I didn't do one. I've been trying desperately to think of one.
Well, I did one. Why don't we take it in turns? Otherwise, we'll be all night.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'll go for the next one then, which is engage. Engage. Okay, so what, like engaging players?
You've done that to me.
Well,
you might not know this, but
yes.
We're getting married.
We will eventually have the date and so on, but we're going to go round somewhere to have a look on Monday. But yeah, apart from real life engagements and stuff, engage players with props. Let's talk about props.
Okay.
So a great way to engage players is handouts. I'm sure many of you who are GMs have used handouts. So pieces of paper that have like maps on, or I don't know, like pieces of a book or something like that, and you can sort of use fancy fonts and make it look more immersive, which is great. But have you ever tried doing actual physical props, not just bits of paper? It's not always, feasible. And props are something that you kind of have to plan in advance, and it's quite time consuming, but I do them for conventions a lot. And the amount of times where people have suddenly their eyes have just lit up is something they can physically look at and touch and interact with. And yeah, whilst reading something is good and all that, if they've got something 3D that they can look at, it engages them. It kind of brings them in, and also props can be great for your plot to kind of hone things in to a certain spot. So say, I don't know, there's a few characters who've got slightly different motives or whatever. Suddenly, boom, this prop comes in. How does their character react to it? But also, how do they feel about it in terms of the story in general? It sort of sets off all these ideas.
Okay. The next one is shape.
I think no, it's share.
What, like herpes?
No, share.
Yeah, like herpes. Okay. In that case, what?
What? Where do you get these comparisons from?
I don't know. It's my twisted brain. That's why I'm a GM.
Wow.
Okay. Well, I had mentally prepared myself to extol the virtues of odd-sided dice under shape, but if it's share,
yeah.
Well, it's one of my favourite things about role-playing.
Just realised the chat isn't up.
We can see... No, I dragged it off a moment because we're not doing chat,
okay,
so it'll come back when we do chat.
Fair dues.
No, so one of my favourite things about a role-playing session is when you get sort of midway into the session and that moment happens where you order your food, and sometimes it's an Indian, sometimes it's Chinese, sometimes it's pizza, and you share this meal with your friends, and it's like that, our parents' generation would have done dinner parties, and I have done a couple of those in the past, tried them out, and realised that this isn't how dinner parties should be. Dinner parties should be a takeout whilst playing D&D or some other RPG system.
Or and my famous nachos.
But this is what a dinner party should be. It should be role playing and a takeout, and that is just how I prefer to share food with friends.
Okay.
Let's do a little behind the scenes look at Pear of Geeks. Okay, so let's do it. We have to count in.
Vibrating.
We have to count. That'll be my phone.
Yes.
5, 4. Wasn't that button, was it?
No, it wasn't that button.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes, a film written in about 20 minutes to try and convince a group of friends to get together and make a film. It's the morning of filming day and it's raining. That's a problem. So our mic had to connect to the audio recorder, which meant we needed a mini jack to XLR connector, which I forgot.
Fake blood. Lots and lots of fake blood.
Oh, I've missed a prop. I need to go make it. We couldn't have done blood without
I accept this Oscar on behalf of my family and my wife.
Come this way, come on, don't be shy, This is our road sound man. Call him the road sound man because it's a road competition, so we have to get road in as many times as possible.
My middle name's Rogue.
Hello, so I'm Jason, the actor, and we've just done scene 5, we're having some coffee, and I've been signed up to a record label in Carcosa, which is rather awesome. So yeah, it's going fine. We've got 2 more scenes to do, another wardrobe change, and recording in the rain in a suit, so that'll be fun.
We had to make our own contacts thing where you could dial people and stuff. So this is scene 3, filming establishing shot later. So we'll begin at shot 2.
Try and get this over here.
It's going to be too wide, isn't it? It's not going to...
There's Crash Bandicoot guys.
I know, aren't they amazing?
Is that camera recording?
No.
Oh, I was going to start my own vlog channel thing.
Oh, it is recording?
Yes.
Hello.
Welcome to the It's Recording show.
Yeah, good.
Cut.
Save the sofa!
Hey.
So it's still raining, which means we're having to improvise. Just rewrite the whole thing. It'll work. So I didn't know they were filming at BTS and I just waltzed in and turned the camera off. So here we are in the woods. It's raining and we're filming anyway, but with umbrellas.
It's atmospheric.
It's a wrap!
Yeah!
I'm going to curtsy and sit down. So welcome back to the It's Recording show.
Welcome back. Yes, the It's Recording show.
Let's catch up on some chat.
Yeah, because there's a lot.
Okay, so Samwise7 needs a beer.
Damn
We've
beer.
had a refill in the meantime because my glass broke. The beer emptied out of it, so we've had to fix it. Ben loves my shirt. Yes, this is the cat eating a pizza and taco in space shirt.
It's funny, because that used to be my shirt, but
Yes.
I gave it to you.
I stole it. Along with your
Yeah,
socks.
but-
Every sock you possess.
Yes, you steal my socks for some strange reason.
Samwise7 RPG rules. Oh, this will be in reference to my
To your-
approach to
yeah.
RPG
Yeah.
a day thing.
Do what thou wilt.
And I will. So, few
The band
enterprises.
Sabaton is indeed from Sweden. But they sing about lots of different things. They did an album about a Swedish king dude, but they do lots of things about, say, the world wars all around Europe. And
It's basically they
America.
find stories of heroes from war and sing about them.
yeah, or like certain battles and things like that. And then on stage they have an actual tank that they've customized and put pyros in and shit.
I quite like Sabaton because, like, some of them are sort of quite jolly, but also some of them are quite emotional. You know, 'cause
Yeah.
they've picked a topic, if you like, that is very raw, and so they can be very emotional in the way they perform the songs. So.
Yeah, my favourite gig was at Wacken in 2015. The only thing I don't like about them is they just recycle a lot of their formulas
Riffs
and
and-
riffs
yeah,
that work,
okay.
so it's meh.
Yeah. Oh, I just pressed the wrong button.
Well, let's
Oopsie.
just get rid of that while we sort it out.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. It's there. Right.
Cool.
Chat is back.
Cool.
Okay. They're right next to each other.
You thought correctly, Samwise.
Um,
Ben wants your t-shirt. I can tell you where I got it, if that helps, if you want it.
over my dead body. Roll initiative.
I'll let you two fight it out then. 1, 2, 3. Oh wow, Ronnie saw Iron Maiden in 1990. Small venue and was a great gig. Wow, I envy anybody who has seen bands, when they were sort of quite small.
I don't think they were small in 1990.
Well, okay, smaller,
because they were
perhaps.
massive in the 80s when I had a certain incident with Bruce.
That's
But
true.
you need to see Iron Maiden in a small venue because Bruce is tiny. He's like that big.
Is that why he always waves a ginormous flag to make
Yes.
himself look bigger?
Absolutely.
Ah. Because I didn't know he was tiny.
He's really small.
Is he as small as me?
No comment. About the same.
Fiuk says, if Rammstein counts as metal, of course they do. They're industrial
I'd
metal.
say so, yeah.
They're like the biggest industrial metal band ever.
Yes.
Like, hello.
They are a metal subgenre.
Yes. Definitely.
Fuke has seen Rammstein. I'm a little bit
Oh,
jealous. I've never
very,
seen
very
Rammstein.
jealous. No.
No.
Apparently...
They played down the road not long ago, but it was sold out in minutes.
Yeah,
didn't it?
Yeah, we weren't sure if we could go, but in the end we couldn't actually. It wasn't...
It sold out in 7 minutes.
Yeah. But yeah, apparently if you stand at the front, it's quite possible you'll get a heat stroke and faint because of all their pyros. They're all trained pyrotechnics.
I felt that at the Nightwish concert, and we were quite
Really?
far back.
Are you kidding?
It was, well, not heat stroke, but the heat of it was insane.
That was nothing.
Yeah, but Nightwish, their pyro show is quite
intense.
There were some pyros, yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot going on, I thought, but oh well. What do I know, apparently?
Best metal concert, Phil says, is either AC/DC or Alice Cooper.
You know, I actually secretly wouldn't mind going to see Alice Cooper.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Oh, yay, that's okay.
I think Alice Cooper played once at... yeah, that's right. He played at Bloodstock. When I went one time, we didn't actually watch him. But yeah, Alice Cooper's fairly solid.
I like the bands that kind of tell a story on stage. I saw King Diamond somewhere down.
Yeah, King Diamond is definitely a show.
Somewhere in the south of Holland somewhere. But because I was overseas, everything that was said I didn't really follow because my Dutch is weak, very weak.
Oh.
But I really like the whole performance of it was still very entertaining.
Yeah.
It was just strange to me though because at that point, I think it was one of the first metal gigs I'd been to in quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say quite a while. I mean, I suppose you'd count Papa Roach's metal. It's just that I didn't really count it as a gig because it was terrible.
Oh dear.
No, okay, no, it wasn't the first metal gig I'd seen in a while, but it was the first time there was this weird thing, really weird thing. They had like this graveyard fence along the stage edge.
Wait, we're talking Papa Roach now or King Diamond?
King Diamond.
They always have that.
Yeah, so you can't stage dive.
No.
But then stage diving isn't really a thing anymore.
No, they've kind of banned it.
Because you get these huge gaps between the stage and it just like, and this was like the first time I'd seen something like that where they absolutely blocked it off.
Yeah. Yeah, not anymore, I'm afraid. You have to have that space where photographers can come in and do snaps.
Yeah, but like, when before I used to like go to the Brixton Academy and stuff, and you'd see like I don't know cancer bats or something, and it didn't matter that there was this 6-foot gap. People would just take a longer run up to get to the people, to get to the audience.
Wow.
It was like, you're not allowed in that space. There's like a bar there, but you just sort of go under it, hop up on stage, and then do a sort of running jump.
Not anymore.
No, it's all dead. Fuke says, this has been bugging me for a while. Why does Becky sound N? Sound N? N?
I don't know what that's saying.
English
Canadian. You sound English... What? You sound English Canadian.
Well...
Is the
To
hat.
be fair, my accent is different to most English people, and that is because I come from old money. There we are.
Please don't say, oh, yeah.
Of course, darling.
Well, I have a bit of a weird accent as well.
Yes, you're northern posh.
I'm northern posh.
Yes.
I'm pleased you said northern, because a lot of people think that where I come from is not in the north, and it's like, what? Of course it's in the north.
Darling, the Watford Gap is so far south of you.
Exactly. Hello.
Yes, no, you're definitely northern posh, which means
Yeah.
you're not really posh because you're from the north.
I am Celtic. I'll have you know. None of this English stuff for me. I am Celtic.
I don't know what does an English Canadian sound like. I guess me.
With sort of R's a bit like this, and E. You say E?
I do.
No, but I think you have to say E if you're English Canadian.
I have changed my accent a lot over the years because it used to be very prim and proper. And I think if I went on YouTube now, speaking the way that I used to, I would get millions of subscribers just for the voice. But the thing is, you can't survive on the streets like that.
No. Well, you still sound quite posh, but I know that when you talk about certain topics, you kind of go a bit more cockney.
Do I?
Yeah, you do.
Huh.
Yeah, like, I know certain things to do with your day job, for example. You kind of go a bit like this.
Okay.
Yeah, you do.
That news to me.
Yeah.
Ronnie says, and I am playing one of the top 10 half-elf bards who come from a noble background of diplomats.
Is that? Are you sure that's not 100 with like a decimal point in there?
one of the top 100 half-elf bards.
Yeah.
So this is, of course, a reference to a Pear of Geeks 2's current live game, Signs and Portents, being GM'd by none other than Phil Bate. Our Patreon up here. Sam7 says he does wash.
I do wash.
LOL.
That's what I thought.
You are using lol like a full stop, though. You need to stop doing that.
What, me or him?
On the end of every comment. It's like a sign-off, like, over.
Maybe it is.
Over.
Lol.
Ronnie says, your Shadows of Estron campaign, I wasn't in it. That was before my time.
No,
but apparently
no.
it was fun to play.
Yeah. Ronnie
I
had...
played it with you, though.
Yes.
Game Fest.
Yes, at Game Fest.
We went
That
to
was
this
a one-shot.
convention called Game Fest. It was interesting.
Yes. But yeah, Ronnie's character, he had like an arch nemesis thing, and they got like a final confrontation together. It was all very dramatic, and meanwhile there were all these rats, like thousands of rats, spilling out of the like the stronghold, causing everything to crumble around, and it was all very
I just want to say the chat is actually coming in quicker than we're clearing it.
I know.
We may have to come up with a different solution for chat.
Well, there are things like Super Chat that we could incorporate, possibly.
Well, I don't like the idea of people having to pay to get their message on screen.
No, that's true.
This is a chat with our friends.
We'll think about something.
Well, maybe if we use the normal YouTube chat widget, but then we'll miss chat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, we will. Anywho,
let's do it. Let's
keep going.
rush through a few.
Rush through.
Samwise7RPG says option rules that have icon sound wonderful. It's a really great idea. I haven't yet played it to see how it works in practice, because like as a GM, I don't like referring to the rulebook, and I do worry that I'll forget what rule is associated with what. But certainly in character gen, brilliant.
Yeah.
I haven't actually read the rules on the gameplay part of it yet. I don't imagine there'll be that much that's different.
No, I'd
It's
imagine.
like remember, because it is just the
most of it.
optional rules that it applies to, so it should be alright.
By the way, how do you pronounce the world?
Now here's the
Ena?
thing. So the world is spelled EANA. Now it's interesting that you ask me how I pronounce a word, almost as if you're wondering if I know the correct way to pronounce it.
I'm asking you because you've done more with it. I wasn't sure if you knew how to pronounce
so
it.
does this mean my pronunciation is going to carry? Whatever I say will become the de facto standard? Because
Not necessarily.
there are certain words you continually pick me up on, like room.
And minis.
Minis.
Not minis.
I say minis.
You say minis.
Minis. What's the deal here?
It's a little bit different. Different phonetics.
It's because I'm posh.
Yes.
I'm just getting the chat working again.
But yeah, I don't know, like, Ena, I suppose, would be the way that it's of English spelling, but then I like Aina, for example, if it's like...
Oh no,
kind of
there's something wrong with the chat
mystical-
widget, it's broken.
Didn't this happen last time?
I think it happened maybe time before last, and I haven't tried to fix it.
Okay, well, why don't we...
Already on it.
Yeah, just pop up the whole chat, and then that way we're not missing stuff.
Okay. Although, right. You talk.
Well, the problem is I can't see the chat, so...
I'm working on it.
There's not really much that I can look at for talking about things. Ooh, that's huge. Yes, Ben is going to be a bridesmaid. Abso-friggin-lutely.
That is more recent chat. I need to get it lined
I know.
up.
Oh, here we go. If Ramstein counts as metal, we've done that one. English Canadian.
I haven't got this on screen yet.
Yeah.
You're kind of coming ahead of me.
I know, but okay.
Working on it.
Okay.
Working on it.
Yeah. So yeah, the optional rules look absolutely brilliant. I personally think that, like, I'm sure that there's more just to do with sort of character gen. That's what it seemed to look at, and the same with the grimoire as well. Like, it gave sort of a reference to, okay, does Fireball go into gritty? Probably not. You know, things like that. I'm using Fireball because, you know, stereotypical wizard spell.
It's the only wizard spell in 5e.
According to what's he called?
I don't know
Joe-
that channel's name.
Joe
but-
Cat.
Joe Cat.
Joe
yeah.
Cat.
Well, Fireball is the only spell you need. Okay. So are we?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay. So Nathan H says best holiday in the den ever. Becky's hat and drink are the perfect touches. and my day went to perfect with Jason's air guitar head banging. Did
Why don't
miss
I make
something?
it super perfect and go...
In that case, I'll have to be Animal from the Muppets.
Woman! Woman!
That's what he says. He runs after women and shouts woman at them.
Oh, I had no idea he was
What?
like that.
How do you not know about Animal?
Well, I know about Animal. I just I watched the Muppets last when I was like 11.
Oh, I love
Right.
the Muppets. They're amazing.
Fuke Enterprises says, wait, Google Hangouts is dying? Yes.
Yeah,
So
it's
basically-
really, really annoying.
It's been a process that's been taking a couple of years, but essentially my glass is also broken.
Okay.
Google is moving their Hangout solution to its enterprise clients, essentially. So Hangouts will no longer be a thing. We've been experimenting in our RPG games with Discord, and I'm a bit disappointed in Discord.
Yeah, it's got quite a lot of sort of...
Bugs.
Yeah, glitches and stuff. If you watch the previous episode, I turned my camera off, of our stream on Pod 2. I turned the camera off for like 2 minutes, came back, and it just refused to come back on again. That was so weird. And it's happened before when we like tried to test it and stuff. And then sometimes people have no sound and there's no reason why. The thing that annoys me the most, because I use an audio interface for my sound, if I like haven't got that set up before I go into Discord, which seems a bit counterproductive to me because I like to load up Discord, find the server, and then get the sound ready. Oh well, I have no idea what that is. Oh, I don't know what that is. I can't see anything.
One of the things people have been using is Zoom.
Yes.
But the problem with Zoom is it's a paid-for service. And I use it professionally at work, and actually the video quality is, well, it's down there with Hangouts. But the advantage that Hangouts always had is it was so integrated into YouTube. You could just broadcast it direct from Hangouts. No need to use tools like XSplit and Open Broadcaster to do it like a retransmission.
No. I think,
Retransmitting from Discord has proved also problematical.
Yeah. I think won't they still be using like a Go Live Google Hangout thing just for you as a solo?
Yeah, well, YouTube has
person.
this camera thing.
Yeah,
But the problem is that's not a group chat.
No, and you can't invite other people in and stuff.
So it doesn't work for RPGs.
It's stupid. And then they got rid of stuff before, like the dice and the nice overlays you could use.
Yeah. Anyway, Ben Batychef says, so up.
So up yourself.
Wow, that just got rude. Samway7RPG says, yep, Hangouts is going the way of the buffalo. What, we're going to eat it?
I'm assuming that's a Wall Street reference. Oh no, buffalo is a good thing. Buffalo is a good thing.
Didn't they kind of go extinct or something?
Buffaloes?
It's America, what do I know? Ben says, gonna be a bridesmaid. Congratulations, cousin. Fuke says, I grew up in the Buffalo capital of Canada. Buffalo aren't dead. That answers my statement, doesn't it?
Maybe it's a saying.
I guess. Nathan says, hell to the yes, dinner parties and how they should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I've been intrigued about these, those sort of semi-role-play murder mysteries where you do a dinner party around it.
Yeah.
But at the same time...
My parents enjoyed those for a while.
Oh, okay, I don't want to do them then.
I mean, I see them as a kind of a way to... I did do one with them, actually. It was one they did with some friends, and they said it was so much fun. Like, is it like that role-playing thing you do? And I'm like, it's like a baby version.
Yeah, it's a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Samway7, Buffalo are on the way back. The phrase comes from the massacre of them in the West.
Alright.
Yeah, it's all because of that Oregon Trail computer game. Fuke says, makes sense, I was just being facetious. High-fiving, sneak sock attack. This is me stealing your socks.
Yeah.
Every day. Although not today, I'm in flip-flops. Where's camera? Boom, flip-flops. See, sexy flip-flops.
Now we finally get to the
today,
BTS.
My outfits today is not normal wear.
In fairness, though, I was coordinated when I got up this morning. We went for a walk in the park, and it was extremely hot.
It was not extremely hot.
I have definitely lost weight because I perspired loads.
It was about 23, 24 degrees.
It was hot.
Celsius, for those of you in America.
Samwise7RPG says, that movie looked fun, challenging to film. And you know what? We're going to play the film itself in a little bit. It was fun. It wasn't actually that challenging. Our biggest challenge was that we wanted to do it in one day. It turned out we did that amply. We had ample time. But, you know, we were moving through it and stuff.
We had multiple locations as well.
We had 3 locations, which I don't think I'll try to avoid doing that in one day again, I have to say. And, you know, outdoor locations with rain was a problem. In a way, though, it probably saved it in the sense that that first scene was supposed to be filmed in a 4th location. And this, in hindsight, is a huge mistake, because now I've seen the film, I actually wish I didn't move time forward so fast between each scene. Yeah,
I agree. It seems a bit kind of like, ooh, and then...
Yeah, the establishing shots just about save it, but to be honest, that is its kind of its weakness as a film.
Having said that,
learning experience.
It is supposed to be 3 minutes, which is pretty hard, and you actually had to cut a little bit down.
I did. My natural edit from what we filmed was 4 minutes, but to be honest, that story told that way, I think really should have been like 10 plus minutes. Like if I was telling that story that way. And you know, it's a learning experience. It's the first time we've done something like that. But I think what we produced, whilst it's unlikely to, I don't think it deserves to win. I've seen the one I think deserves to win. It's called Glimpse. Nonetheless, I still think you should vote for us.
Please, because you love us.
You know, I think it's a half decent film. You know, it's by no means perfect, but it's, you know, it's alright. It's alright. We did okay. It was our first crack, and I think we done okay. We did good. We should drink to that.
There you go. It's not my first film.
Well, it was our first film.
Yeah,
in the sense of we produced it as Pear of Geeks.
Yeah.
Pear of Geeks was the producer. I was the writer, director,
well, you were.
editor,
I just did the acting,
camera.
really.
You were the main talent.
I was a bit of a douche.
Character was a douche.
Character, not me personally, but I had to be a bit of a douche.
Yeah, and you know, we got a good group of friends there.
Yes.
So, Ronnie says Iron Maiden were huge, but it was their 10th anniversary as a recording band, so they played smaller venues as a thank you to the bands.
Oh, cool. One of my favourite bands had their 10th anniversary, and they did a massive stage in Eindhoven, and they did, like, it was really cool. I wish more bands would do this, but they did a live stream as well. So if you couldn't make it and get all the way to Eindhoven, you still had to pay for a ticket.
But you can watch the stream.
Yeah, but it was a bit cheaper, because obviously it was a stream. You also got a free t-shirt, which unfortunately doesn't fit me anymore. But yeah, 10th anniversary and all that, and that was really good, and it was such a good night.
Saw Pat Benatar, and I'm a little bit jealous, even though her music is really dated now.
Who's Pat Benatar?
Love is a battlefield.
Oh, okay.
Many other actually. We're running with the shadows of the night.
You've seen Nightwish, so jelly need to see them.
Not the best gig I've seen, to be honest.
I have seen them.
Yeah,
how many times?
4 now, is it?
No. I have seen them... is it twice or 3 times? But anyway, their best gig for me was in Manchester in 2012. Floor had come in very, very recently, and they played really, really well. I think, okay, they're still a good band, but apart from Marco and perhaps Tuomas, they're kind of getting on a bit. Actually, no, and Floor, sorry. Floor's good as well, but the others, they're kind of getting on a bit. They're not that tight anymore.
The stage presence. There wasn't
stage presence, yeah.
There wasn't any.
A lot of them...
They were there to play the music and then go off and do whatever they're doing after, and it was...
Yeah.
There was no engagement. And, you know, performers that really connect with their audiences are always the best gigs. Like, one of the best gigs I went to
yeah, go on.
was Amanda Palmer. right? Was not the best musically, frankly. She can barely sing. Right? It is not the best entertainment-wise. It was not the best costume-wise. It was not the best show-wise. In any category, you'd have to score it weekly, but it was still one of the best gigs I went to, because what Amanda Palmer does is she connects with her audience, and it was intimate and amazing and wonderful, and a gig I would absolutely repeat.
Okay.
Especially if she played what was, when I heard it on the album, one of my least favourite songs. I'm trying to remember the name of it now, but when I saw it live, it was epic, and she put this 30-foot coat on, and then she crowd surfed the entire audience, and everyone got to touch that coat at least, because it's so huge, and she could really connect with people on an intimate level, and it was amazing. And Nightwish are kind of the opposite of that.
They are now, but to be fair, what I was going to say was the gig that we went to was like 2 away from the end of the tour.
Yeah,
so they were probably
that's
quite tight.
Yeah.
Also, I remember now, I did go and see them at Wembley in 2015, and their stage presence was a lot better. And that was only
maybe
a couple of years
it was just
ago.
the whole end of tour issue.
I think so. Also, the venue was a bit weird. It was very kind of there was a lot of depth. Like it went back really far before you got like the seating and stuff. And I thought maybe that's a bit of a weird layout and
No,
stuff.
Benjina. No, you cannot have my T-shirt. No.
Again, I can tell you where I got it, and you can get it from a lot of places. I'm sure that, in fact, yes, there is a tank top version. If you prefer a tank top on Amazon, you can get the print in all sorts of things.
So, fun fact about the 1990 Iron Maiden tour, says Ronnie Bradley. Their support band were Wolfsbane, fronted by Blaze Bayley. Who knew we were looking at the future singer of the main band that night? He came and he went.
Yep.
And he did the Klansman! Come on, that was epic. Nathan H says, frankly, I'm surprised no one created an entire campaign with an Alice Cooper world boss. It's a fair point. Last Temptation, I think, would be an epic Cthulhu game.
It would sell out overnight. Maybe.
Raphael Carrera, hello and
Hello.
welcome to the stream. Sorry we took so long to getting around to your message, but hello and welcome. Now, just before we go on with that, just to remind everyone, in the description of this video is a link to a road film competition that we have entered. We are currently 81st out of about 1,000 films.
Please vote for us.
Please. We're going to show you the film in a minute. It's also available as a separate video on our channel in glorious 4K format, because we filmed in 4K. Now, Raphael is actually asking, we'll come back to Fuchs, what is the theme of the conversation? We're doing RPG a day, but very slowly. We've done 4 so far.
Well, hey, depending on how much time we do, we could always sort of split it up a bit.
Yeah, the thing is, the chat is getting so popular
Yeah,
now.
but
It's kind of hard to dwell on every message. But yeah. Fuchs sets.
Heading to work again. A is pronounced R, not E. Sheesh. Want to call in sick and listen to you guys read the chat. You could say something like, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry, but I can't come in because I've
got herpes from Becky Rose."
I was going to try and think of a joke to do with a pear, but no, you just ruined it.
I'm sorry.
We have indeed devolved into random chatter because we're trying to catch up with the chat. I think we're getting close, actually, by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Mix of RPGs, beer, which we're getting to the end to, metal, and general geekiness.
Which is what Pear of Geeks is all about, really. Let's be honest. And we've been thinking about this recently. Should we have that other discussion when we were talking about Pear of Geeks next year?
Yeah.
Because that is the perfect comment to take us into it.
Can I just clarify, why do you say next year?
Well, after the Con Plus 2.
That's not year, that's why I was confused, but okay.
Well, yeah, but very soon after Con Plus 2 it is 2020.
True, okay, yeah.
Okay. So, because the thing is, we've done RPG content for 6 years. And we're going to continue doing it. Don't panic. Calm down. Get off the keyboards. It's all good. We'll keep doing RPG stuff. But we were thinking about this. Like, our channel used to be a lot bigger than it is now in terms of views and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it used to be we'd put a video out and we'd have 100 views in an hour. And for us, that was kind of the glory heady days of the past.
The halcyon days.
Yes, we don't get that now. Like we'll be lucky to get 100 in a week.
Well, there's a lot of reasons why.
Yeah.
And
some of them are our fault.
Yeah, some of them are our fault. We have very busy lives.
Some of them are YouTube's. Damn you, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube is kind of rubbish at the moment as well, but we do have full-time jobs each, and we also have our own commitments. We do have things like the game night every Monday, which is fine.
The point is, we're no longer doing those glorious 10-20 minute videos each week.
Because we just can't.
Instead, we do a live stream, but that doesn't, or hasn't appealed to quite the same.
No, the point is that you people watching, you are brilliant, you are loyal, you come on every week and you chat, and that's brilliant. But in terms of getting new people in, it's not quite working. It's not quite the same.
Our subscriber count actually goes down each week.
Well,
So anyway,
what we're going to do...
The good news is that we need to reassure them first.
Yes, reassure them.
We're going to keep this up until the convention, in terms of the weekly live stream. But after the convention, we want to try experimenting with some new stuff.
Yeah, because we are geeks.
And we want to do geek content.
We've just been talking about metal for ages, which could be considered quite geeky. There are lots of you there who like metal, beer and things. There was one guy on my old channel who only watched my beer content. That was it. But you know, and things like we do board games and things.
Yeah, like we've done board game and mega game content in the past.
Yeah.
Never done a LARP on this channel.
No.
We'll probably continue to never do a LARP on this channel.
We're not really into LARPing, sorry.
I would totally do LARPing if they used proper swords. They don't. You've got to make them of metal, or I'm not interested. So, no, we want to sort of go back to doing mega game videos, board game videos, and doing the cool videos that you guys enjoyed. Now that might mean we don't do videos as often if we're not. But the thing is, if we're not committing to a live stream each week, we're kind of free to do a bit of other filming and stuff. And maybe it won't be a video each week, but it'll be the content you want. And we will still do live streams. It just won't be as be a weekly thing. Maybe we'll make it a monthly thing. We haven't decided.
Yeah. But just as you were talking about it before you said, maybe a month, I was thinking actually a month would be quite good.
Yeah. So maybe it'll be like a first Friday of the month thing.
Or
maybe we'll do it on the weekend. Possibly not.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
We'll work that out later. But we want to. The problem is committing to a video each week really kind of limits us to a live stream because of our lives.
Yeah.
And we want to do those cool videos that we used to do.
Because a lot of people have got a lot of great stuff out of it. Like they've taken those ideas and put them to their own table.
I want to do some history stuff.
Yeah, you love the history stuff. I like the board game stuff. We've got our minis.
Yeah, and we want to make some more films as well.
Yeah. I think it kind of it sparked out after we finished making this film, where it's like, actually, that was fun. We really enjoyed it.
Apparently, we're both technical wizards.
We are technical wizards.
I don't know what that's in reference to, though. Was it?
Getting the chat up. Yeah, you were getting the chat up, I think.
Yes. Well, the technical wizardry was in writing the original one. The apathy was in the fact that I haven't updated that in 4 years, and now it only works for an hour.
Well, this is fine at the moment.
Yeah, I've been saying I need to update that for years.
Yeah, we do need to think about the chat and how that would work. But it's great that you guys are being so chatty.
It is wonderful.
Speaking of which, hello to Russell Higgins. My voice cracked.
Hello.
Nice to see you again.
Hi, Russell, and thank you for being one of the most awesome people in the world.
Really enjoying Pathfinder 2. Yes, everyone is talking about Pathfinder 2 because, of course, it has just been released. All the pre-orders from Amazon are going out, although apparently there's loads of damage issues with the Amazon stock.
Yeah. Well,
So if you've ordered from Amazon and you get like a shitty spine, then tell them and send it back and they'll get it replaced, because seriously.
It's kind of weird though, hearing that that's only just released, because like, I've been talking to Jason about that for years.
Yeah.
When I say Jason, I'm referring to Jason Bulmer, who
Jason Bulmer
is the like top head
The-
honcho of Pathfinder 2.
You did a fantastic interview with him. And
I did, and no one's seen
Amanda,
it yet.
no. And who was the other guy again? What was he called?
He was like one
Dan?
of Paizo's top people, and I have no idea what his name was.
I know what he looks
but
like.
it's okay. He won't watch this stream.
Well, actually, to be fair, they're all going to be at Gen Con right now. Because Gen Con is, of course,
busy,
on at the moment.
Yeah, it's fine.
So thank you for not going to Gen Con and tuning into our stream.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, but we're going to air that at Con+ 2, and then we'll throw it up on the channel afterwards.
DCC is a blast, says Sam. I had DCC for a while, never played it, eventually sold it. Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Oh!
Very old school dungeon crawling where you basically make 2 or 3 characters because you expect one of them to die.
Can I just say, I've just started to read Nathan's comment. It's Statler and Waldorf. The 2 old men on the balcony shouting down insults. Wish they would have their own TV show and use Trump as their only target.
Yeah, but they're probably characters that would support Trump or at least support some of his policies.
No, they didn't support anything.
That's true, yeah.
They would moan about Trump, about Obama, about Hillary, about anyone.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Bernie Sanders, whatever. They would pick fault in anything.
Yeah, Statler and Waldorf. They were an amazing comedy pair.
Ronnie had already answered that. I'm sorry.
They quite often did like back in the old shows they did a thing where they started off either really really negative or really positive and went the other way, and then they would like start opposite and go each way.
I did actually learn the theme tunes to the Muppets because every time somebody made a mistake at work, it would be something we'd all sing.
Oh right. In Muppet Treasure Island, they were the figurehead, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they kept making fourth wall jokes. It was just like, but it was funny. Facebook Live isn't Hangouts, but I've used it with another person and then saved it to upload later.
Yeah, the whole idea of recording a session, uploading later is something I consider, but the thing is, we do have 1 live audience, sometimes 4, but always at least 1, the die-hard fans, and I don't want to deny them that. I want to go live for live plays.
Just checking the time.
I mean, I suppose you can fake it as live by recording it and then stream it later as if it's live, but you'll never have any interaction with the audience, which we sometimes do.
Yeah, it's like when you put on a premiere and nobody comes onto it.
Aww.
It's really sad.
But the thing is, actually, saying that, what I have noticed in YouTube statistics is that these live videos we do, YouTube hates live videos, it'll promote them whilst they're live,
but afterwards,
dead in the water.
Sweep under the rug.
Which is one of the other things that's hurting our channel stats.
Yeah.
Ronnie
more,
says,
sorry.
10 plus minutes for a fuller version of the film. Does that mean we will see an extended director's cut of the film? No, I was thinking about doing that near the start of the edit, and because I had this 4-minute cut that I thought was better, but the problem with restoring that cut is that I've done so many changes to the film since that to go back to it, I'd lose all those other changes. I mean, we had a different musical score at that point.
Yes.
Which is kind of why at the end you're doing a much more dramatic end than the actual music eventually had.
Yes, yeah. Well, the thing was that I completely forgotten that I was supposed to write some music for it, and then you kind of reminded me the day before.
Well,
and then
I knew you were busy writing stuff.
Yeah, this writing gig came up, so that became my top priority, and then I just forgot. And then when you'd said, I'm thinking, oh my god, it went right out of my brain.
So originally we were going to use the music you composed for Con+1.
Yeah, but
which is Stand Before the Dawn.
Yeah, but it didn't
fit. There was a bit of it that fitted in certain places, but in the musical section in the middle of the film it just didn't work at all. It's too happy.
Yeah, it's too happy and majestic and kind of, you're standing before the dawn. It's all very, yes, we're going to do this now.
Samwise7 has betrayed my tiny trust and left. Scott Poe, is this live? Yes!
Yes,
it is live. Russell is, how do you know I'm not there?
At Gen Con, maybe?
Oh, yes.
Good point.
You could be.
Good point.
They
but
probably do have good
Having said
Gen
that,
Con,
isn't it like, let's see, sort of 6-ish hours behind us now, so it's like 4 p.m. So peak Gen Con time.
Yeah.
So why are you messaging us? We should be doing stuff.
Oh, well, that could be a slot between games, though.
Yeah,
maybe,
could be, but there's so much
And,
stuff.
yes, Fic Trimp.
Fic
I
Trimp.
completely
Yes.
agree.
Yes.
We have caught up on chat.
Hooray!
So, I think it is time we move on to the next segment, which is we are going to play you this film we've been talking about.
Which is great timing because I need a wee.
And I'm going to go for a smoke.
Okay. So enjoy the
this is-
film.
The Old Ones leitmotif.
The old ones.
Yes.
Leitmotif.
Should we see if I hit the right button this time?
Yes.
Okay. 5, 4.
3, 2.
No. You don't count the 3, 2, 1. You do that. So, 5, 4. Like that. But you can't do the timing.
Shall I go on ahead then?
Let's just do
Since
it.
I'm- Oh God! Alright, get in the car. Oh, now what? What? Dad, this is not a good time. I'm taking Daniela out. Okay, fine. Tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. Okay, fine. What's this?
You get musical side from her, you know, but I hadn't realised you'd written anything.
It's a light motif. It's quite catchy.
Oh, come on, we got a lot to sort through. We can't sell this place with dead people things inside.
Shall I go?
No. How about some music? Hey Nana. Buried Danielle today. Yes! Dad, you're not going to believe this. I got the contract. From the record label. Yeah, so one album, and then they've got an option for my next two. Dad, Nana's old box of music. You didn't throw it away, did you?
Our first ever film.
Yes. It's great. We got like a proper clapperboard and everything. It was really cool.
Yes, had to borrow that from work.
We got
Took an hour and a half to find. Don't tell my boss.
We used like a big boom mic and stuff that we just got, and it was all very cool.
Well, we've had that for a while. We've not had the chance to use it because when we're filming ourselves,
Well,
we never get the chance to
You
use
say
the boom.
you say a while, but only like a few months.
Well before Expo.
Oh, okay. I've lost track then.
I think it was from my birthday, actually.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please consider clicking the link in the description of this video where you can go and vote for it in the road film competition.
Please do.
So let's just see how people reacted to that.
And we need to bring it up on the screen again.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. So Russell Higgins says, maybe I didn't get my Pear of Geeks time last week.
We weren't on last week.
We weren't on. No, it was our anniversary. So sorry.
We were busy.
Yeah. And then
he's counting in for us with the one.
Yeah. Daniela is getting in on the wrong side of the car.
Wrong.
No, we're in Britain.
We drive on the opposite side, on the opposite sides of the car.
So
that was correct.
And yes, you do need popcorn, although by the time you've ordered it, the film will be over.
Yeah. And preening in front of the mirror, that's very actorish. Well, I did say I was the actor.
Yes.
But Becky was like, oh yeah, you're supposed to like do your hair in front of the mirror. I'm like,
we had
why?
a storyboard and everything.
Yeah, it was very pretty.
In fact, we have a sheet of it here that I'm currently using to glue the table, because the table broke.
We are using glue as well. It's not just
yes,
a piece of paper that's...
But look, it's like proper storyboard. I'm so wowed with the job Lizzie did on that. So Liz is a friend of mine who has done this amazing storyboard. It's just it's the only page I've got in the room right now. I'm sorry, it's crossed off because we crossed them off as we filmed each scene. But yeah, that looks like the table repair worked.
Hooray!
Really cool. But yes, the preening was in the storyboard, so I filmed it. But yeah, that's our film. Now, next we are going to go on to another week of RPG a day, which is not currently on screen.
No, although actually we only did 4 days worth.
Yes, we did the first week, and then we go back along here, and that's the
I
next week.
see. You're doing it right based on the calendar, not on like 7 days. I see.
Yes. So the next calendar week is actually a full 7-day one.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, Space. Whose turn? Yours.
Space. That just reminds me of Final Space.
I was thinking of John Large's campaign.
Oh, Star Wars.
Mm.
Okay. Do tell.
That was in space. Well, it's kind of your go.
Yeah, it's Star Wars. Okay, well, I've done a few Star Wars campaigns with him, actually. I had a droid assassin character that was really cool.
Just a really important question. Sorry to interrupt, but are we out of beer? Because this is the wrong colour.
We are, unfortunately. Yes, we're now out of the beer.
Carry on.
Anyway, so, there was this one particular guy who was a massive fan, and spoiler alert, when my character was eventually killed off, he reacted quite badly to it. I've never seen anyone react like that to a character I've made, where they were proper upset. It's like, well, yeah, he was a good character, my assassin droid. He had a lot of cool abilities, and it was nice to be a droid, compared to say an organic, like a human type.
Actually, one of my
interesting
favourite ever Star Wars games was when I was a droid. I think you were in it. It was at the UK Games Expo year before last, I think.
Yes, I was
in
it.
K2SO,
yes.
Wasn't it? K2SO.
Well, you weren't K2SO, but you played something...
Oh, no, K2SO is from Rogue One, isn't it?
But you played...
I played that type of droid,
yeah.
But with a different designation.
The cynical droid, yes.
Yeah, but I did it very differently, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Right, there's one scene I will never forget. The party asked me to get some information, right, but do it quietly. So I go up to this door.
And there's like a guy standing at a console.
Yeah, this Imperial agent is in the room that I need to be in. So I roll a grenade in, and then shh to the grenade. It's like a boom. It was so much fun.
Russell Higgins said he would pay to see something.
Yes, not sure. I think that was in relation to your first Star Wars game, I think. I'm not terribly sure. Please clarify that for us, Russell.
Well, thank you very much. I don't know what to say.
So next one is Ancient. The word prompt is Ancient.
Ooh.
Which reminds me of a set of Dwarven Forge that I don't have. Now, Dwarven Forge. I have a complicated history with Dwarven Forge dungeons. So, those who know me know I like my 3D dungeon setups. And the very first dungeon setup I got was Dwarven Forge. I spent about £400 on 8 sets of Dwarven Forge.
Oh
Yeah, it was a lot of money. It was probably more than that, to be honest. But I got like 8 sets of it. That was my first ever dungeon. Painted it in 3 days. So not a lot of value for money in terms of painting time, but I was on a mission to complete this thing.
This was when you were single and you had time to paint things in 3 days.
Yes. Once I got into dungeons, as it were, I started discovering all these other dungeons, and what I soon realised was that Dwarven Forge were very expensive. I'd already clocked before I bought my first set that they charged more for people in the UK, and this has always annoyed me about Dwarven Forge.
Yeah.
And I understand why. It's because they don't sell direct. They sell to a UK distributor, and they obviously, I'm guessing, don't give that distributor much of a discount because they charge a higher base price. It's like you might pay $100 but then pay £150 for the same thing, and you have to bear in mind £1 is worth more than $1. So you're almost paying double for some of this stuff, and it's really annoying because it's a practice called prejudicial pricing that I hate. But some of their stuff looks alright, you know, and I kind of wanted it. And the Ancient set was one I never got because of price, and I stopped buying their dungeons.
Never mind, there are plenty of other great dungeon miniature companies to choose from.
And I've bought most of them, and the house is full, and I'm not allowed more. Familiar is the next one.
Familiar. Okay. So what, like a familiar? Which is a stereotype that's been done in Order of the Stick, where you always forget that you've got a familiar, and then you're like, oh wait, yeah, I've got
pet
this
thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like, I've run that gag before.
Yeah, it's quite funny. I don't know if I've ever had a familiar. I did have a familiar in a one shot. I think I had a tiger, which is pretty cute.
You mean we've had a saber-toothed tiger with us the whole time?
Yes, apparently. Oh look, he's over there.
I forgot he was on my character sheet.
Yeah. I have done that before with a druid character I played, but this was ages ago, like years ago, but I can't remember what on earth the familiar was. There was one that was basically a dire badger, and I've still got a dire badger mini in my Betrayal at House on the Hill box, because there's a guy who was the drummer in my band, who was in our gaming group, who's a vegan. He looks like a bit of a hippie with his sort of beard and whatever. He played this druid, and he had a dire badger, which was hilarious. So yeah, that was cool. There was this whole sort of in-joke thing with badgers and stuff that we did.
Alright, the next one is obscure. That's our prompt word biz for me.
Yes, well, yeah, I was going to say I'm stumped with that one.
I'm not, because I, and you have in fact played it, I have the most obscure RPG system ever partially created.
Oh.
Because I've never finished writing it.
Well, again, there are people who want to play it and want to play test it, so hurry up and write it.
Yeah, but there's so much other stuff happening, like weddings, and this channel, and making films.
Well, would you like to at least talk about it a little bit?
Yes, so After Forever After is my own RPG system, and it solves two big problems that I have with role-playing games. I mean, one of the biggest problems I have with role-playing games is that they very rarely offer something new. Now, I liked Fate Forge, and I bought Fate Forge because it offers something genuinely new. Specifically, the means to play it in different ways. But a lot of RPG systems I pay absolutely no heed to, because really it's just another way of doing mathematics. Like,
yeah, a lot of the time you actually ask, creators, authors, and so on that you're not familiar with. Okay, what new things, or what demographic is this aimed at? And they go, well, role players.
Yeah, it's like,
yes,
it's one of my core interview questions. Like, who would be interested in this game? What have you done to make it appeal to certain people? And they never have an answer. It's like,
It's
we wanted to appeal to everyone.
It's like,
well, it's not never going to. So who are you targeting it at? Because we're not just one collective group of RPGers. You know, at the very least, say high crunch or high narrative, but there's no concept of this with RPG authors, which is why I think most of the RPG games out there, sadly, aren't as good as they should be. Because they don't understand what it is they're trying to create. And so one of the things I did with After Forever After is I said, I want to solve 2 key problems with this game. Now the one is alpha gamers. Like, if you have alpha gamers, the AFA system will be brilliant. Because it solves that problem. You cannot alpha game in After Forever After. It fixes that problem. That is, a key design goal of the system. And the other one is, I just wanted the weapons to have more character. Like, if someone's got an axe, I wanted it to feel like they had an axe, not just be a smaller damage dice than a sword. Or not just be a bit of flavour.
Yeah, you've got a completely different system for how the weapons deal damage, how, the armour soaks it.
Yeah, and it works, and it's logical, and the maths work because I'm good at maths. But critically it adds character to the weapons. If you've got an axe, you could disarm someone. If you've
got a spear that's more reach.
Yeah, and there's a big difference between, peasant type weaponry and martial weapons. These are different skill paths, as it were.
I think I've been bitten.
Not that I do skill paths in it, but it's a different skill. Because there's you could be good with a spear, but be absolutely rubbish with a longsword. Why? Yeah. Because longsword is a martial weapon.
Whereas a spear is much more common, and lots more people use a spear. The same is
true, for example, with a standard hunting bow and an English warbow. Very different weapon.
Yeah.
And even though it's the same kind of action, you could be good with a hunting bow, but not even be able to draw a warbow.
But yeah.
So I put that into the mechanics. So that was the other problem I wanted to solve. So
Ronnie says, I am running a sci-fi scenario right now, which I'm enjoying very much. Not sure my players are, as it has been seriously intense, but it's been fun. So is it more is it a bit like Dead Space or Alien, or is it more kind of space opera, is what I want to know. Because Dead Space and Alien, of course, are a bit more kind of horror.
The only thing is, though, we jump to audience chat, but there's still 3 more days of this week of RPG Day.
There are. I was going to
chip
away. Critical, yeah. So, Critical Role, critical hits. Actually, Critical Role did do something interesting, which I want to watch, which is a Cthulhu live play. And they all dressed up in this sort of really awesome studio back set. They had water in big wine glasses and things like that, and it got like 500,000 views or something in the first day. It was ridiculous, but it looks good, so I am tempted to watch it, even though I personally have not been interested at all in Critical Role.
I tried
a bit.
I tried. It didn't work for me.
We had to turn it off. It was just not appealing at all.
It didn't. Focus. I suppose this is for me, and I suppose like the obvious answer is spellcaster's focus, and
well, yeah, but there's another thing of focus, which is the whole thing of
paying attention at the table.
Not just paying attention at the table, but say you've got a character that, I don't know, wants to kind of keep on the sideline for a bit, go and sit over there. They're more interested in picking people's pockets or interested in learning something at a guild, but there's no focus with that character to what the rest of the group is doing.
I mean, that is a huge problem in some games. It's a particularly old school kind of problem.
Yeah.
Which you see less often these days, because I think most players have evolved past it, but you still see it, and you still come across players who are like that.
Yeah.
But I think, for me, focus... It's something that when I'm GMing, I like to think that my players are largely paying attention on the story because I'm making it interesting enough. And I think quite often some GMs blame the players when the players aren't paying enough attention.
Yeah.
But actually, I say the fault there lies quite often with the GM.
Yeah.
And I know when I failed as a GM to capture a player's attention, it's my failing. If I haven't made the story good enough or captivating enough. And one of the key things I think GMs do wrong on occasion, and I see this a lot still when I play with people I don't play with so often, or new players, or convention games and so on, is that distribution of focus or spotlight time. A lot of GMs don't consciously consider that player isn't getting enough time, I need to do something with them. Now, sometimes I will add an encounter or add an event or a complication
just for that.
Simply to engage a player who isn't engaging with the game to get their focus back in the game.
Yeah. I had one like that in my Call of Cthulhu Masters game, where there were a couple of characters that were very, involved and very role playing, did a lot of talking. There was one person though who was really quiet. I think it was her possibly second game ever. She was not familiar with Cthulhu at all. So I thought, well, considering who this character is and whatever, I did sort of a few separate scenes with her, and she did get involved in the end, and that was good. It kind of broke her in, and she was still very new, and there were things that she was maybe sort of slipping up that she wouldn't do if she played a few more games, but I think that kind of broke her in a bit more. I hope it did anyway.
Yeah, but the thing is, you've got to, I think, as a GM, be mindful if somebody is not engaging with the game, and maybe they've gone onto their phone, you need to address that as the GM with your story. And if that means adding a new complication so that, let's say they've hung back because they're trying to avoid getting involved in this encounter. Now, it might be they're trying to save their precious resources because they're really low on health and out of spell slots, in which case you messed up before you did the encounter. But it might be that they're just stepping down because those two players always run off and deal when there's an enemy to fight, and they do all the fighting stuff, and if I ever try to get involved they tell me what to do, and I don't want to get involved with that because it's a horrible experience, in which case have someone come up from behind and talk to that player or fight that player or do something, engage that player somehow. Examine is the last one for the 11th.
Yeah, my favourite
This is you.
number. I was thinking with this one, there's a lot of sort of examine, investigate skills, where it's very easy as a GM to put something in a room that the players have to find, and if they don't find it, then it kind of sucks to be them because they've missed a plot point. You put something important in there. Don't do that. Don't make them roll to examine or investigate a room, if they have to find something.
Yeah, if they've got to find something, then they have to just find it.
Yeah. I was in a game recently where this happened a few times. It was same with perception or spot hidden.
I think perception should be removed as a skill because GMs have gotten so used to rolling it, and often in the most inopportune moments. Where it's not appropriate.
It's with those kinds of things, again, if you don't see something or don't spot something that is critical to the plot, what is the point of rolling it? Why don't you just tell the players?
The other key thing I think with perception is supposed to only be used as a skill when someone's actively looking. And quite often GMs will just go, right, let's have a perception roll. And the thing is, if you ask the whole party for a perception roll, it's pointless because someone will pass.
Exactly.
It's a kind of a 50-50-ish thing. Actually, with perception, probably 67-33.
It became really broken in 4th there. They kind of sorted it out in 5th with the passive perception. But even so, there are still people I see who mix this up. Where they still say, roll for perception. It's like, no. We're not actively looking. We're not actively looking.
Yeah, so that is, like, if you want us to have a chance at discovery, ask us for our perception and roll stealth on the item.
I still prefer 3.5 edition, where they separated the skills out into spots, so you're actively looking for, say, somebody in a crowd. So kind of like your perception. And then search, so you're actually searching for something.
But I don't like search as a skill, because the thing is, if somebody says, I'm searching this cupboard, and I put something in that cupboard, I'm going to give it to them. I'm not
Oh
going to
yeah,
make them
definitely.
wrong.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. But
And
if
I think
it's something,
search falls into that trap of being a skill that isn't needed.
yeah, I
And
know,
it's
I
this
agree.
Mentality both of system writers and of GMs to ask for perception when it isn't bloody necessary. Stop rolling dice if you don't need to.
But maybe if it's something extra, like a little extra bonus, you might be really good at searching a cupboard, so you know to search like underneath certain bits, and maybe check if it's hollow, that kind of thing. But yeah, I agree. If it's something, again, critical to the plot, you know, if your players fail in finding that thing that's critical to the plot, then what's the point in having that thing in the plot in the first place?
I generally try to avoid putting plot critical or quest critical things behind a dice roll. That's where you put optional stuff.
Yeah.
You know, killing the dragon, the big bad dragon at the end of the campaign, shouldn't be behind a door you have to either the secret door you have to find or a lock you've got to pick.
Yeah.
But the treasure room can be.
Yeah. As an example. Right.
Let's
Shall we
catch
do?
up on
Yes.
chat. Yes. So get yourself a 3D printer, says Russell Higgins, and print your own for pennies. No, for 2 reasons. Firstly, if I had £2,000 right now, I'd be going on the wedding.
Yeah, we did look at 3D printers actually.
It's something I'd like to do, but there's a second problem, which is I've got too much stuff. I've too much role-playing stuff.
We have to paint it all first.
I am considering going down to a smaller scale.
Okay.
And that being the case, there's a possibility I might even sell the existing stuff. And then move to a smaller scale.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know if I can bring myself to do it yet. But yeah, so if I got like a 3D printer, I could maybe start doing like I think about 12mm would be perfect, but that's not a scale. It goes 6, 10, 15. Ronnie says, I am one of the people who has been interested in playtesting AFA.
Well, come to think of it, depending on...
In the group I'm in with Ronnie,
stuff.
I'm the next GM.
Yeah, technically you are.
But I wasn't going to run AFA.
It'd be nice to.
Yeah,
As long
but
as you
I've
finish
got
the
this
app and
idea
stuff.
for this really cool game.
I know, Corporation and Fantasy, and it does sound cool. To be fair, it does, yeah.
And I kind of want to run that, and I don't think AFA is the right system for it.
Yeah, okay. No,
Ronnie has
AFA
answered
is
your
definitely not
question.
the right system, no. Space opera. Essentially, it's Musketeers in space, but I've been pushing the courtly intrigue. I know that you're a big fan of courtly intrigue. You put that in all sorts of games that you do. Didn't have any combat for 7 sessions. Bloomin' Hummer. That's a lot. That's a lot. Even for you, but yeah, you like Falkenstein and Blood Rose, Blue Rose and stuff.
He says he can't watch Critical Role. I find it problematic. And whilst I understand its appeal and its use of D&D, but I also think it has to be to the detriment to other gaming styles and systems. You know, look, there's always going to be one show that's bigger than everything else. So I don't think you can fault it for saying, you know, for as a detriment to other gaming styles, because there'll always be one that's bigger than the second.
Yeah, and this is why I'm looking forward to the Cthulhu game. I'll each watch a bit, because it's a different system, different way of playing, different chemistry with the players, so I want to see how they do that as Critical Role.
But, well, probably with 40 minutes of adverts before they start.
Well, you say that, but it went down really well, so we'll see.
I actually played D&D more than I kind of realised, I think, when I look back on it. Like, I keep finding myself in 5e games, and I have no problem with that. I don't mind it as a system. I'm so sorry. What matters is how you run the game, and I've always said system doesn't really matter. Like, you know, obviously with AFA I tried to solve a particular problem at the table, and it's great for that, but the vast majority of systems are just different ways of doing maths. They have strengths and weaknesses, and, you know, I wouldn't try to use the wrong system for the wrong purpose, but they're not massively different. Ultimately, you know, I found myself once in a bar running an RPG without a system, and all we had was 1d4. So I came up with a system that worked with 1d4. I gave the players, I said, right, you've got one single use prop, you've got one skill, and every action that has a deciding factor, it's a D4 roll, and you've got 4 possible results there. So major fail, minor success, major success, and you can use your prop to bypass a roll at some point, and you can use your skill to roll the dice again if you don't like the first result.
Nice.
And that was it. That's the system. Boom, job done. Didn't need anything else. And we did this kind of awesome little Firefly story where they got to kill Mal.
Whoa, what? Wow. Kill Mal?
Yeah, afraid so. You don't need an RPG system to do this stuff. So you can use any system for any purpose, really. But so I don't have the hate of 5e that some people seem to hate because it's the biggest system and therefore resist. There are others out there. Yes, there are, and they're equally bad.
Although you do like Corporation.
I do. I like that one.
And I like Call of Cthulhu.
I like Call of Cthulhu too.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Poe says there is passive perception, which the DM might want to keep noted behind the screen.
Yep.
Fail perception could be you found the thing but tripped a trap. Took a while. Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's always the succeed but approach. If you've got, if you want to put your big baddie behind a locked door, you can do the succeed but.
Yeah, I'm quite a big fan of that. In that, with things like perception, you're gonna eventually see it, but it might be that you took for ages to find it, and something else has happened.
Yeah, what's the real penalty with taking too long? It just it takes you 2 hours to find. It's not like they've got to wait 2 hours in the corner of the room.
Yeah, exactly.
So. Ronnie says, I would agree with search. Oh, whoops. I lost
it. The scrolling is doing a bit weird. Go down.
Hang on, let me do it with the scroll bar rather than the mouse.
Yeah, there we go.
I would agree with search or its equivalent if they're doing so under a time pressure. If there's no time pressure, then they find the item or info. All I say to this is check out the very first video on this channel, right back in the day, where I talked about stop rolling dice in your RPGs. It was the first video I did, and one of the key points there, it kind of makes these 3 points, and if I remember them, if players have enough time and resources, they will always succeed. So if you do a strength test to open a door, right, you just do the one test. But the problem there is you don't re-roll each turn if you're out of combat.
No.
Now if they're in combat, you might do it, because you might give them a roll each turn. How soon do they get it open?
Yeah.
But out of combat, I'd just give them one roll, and if they fail, it means no, the door can't be open. But what, of course, players immediately do is go, oh, well, I'll try instead. So my answer to that is, I'm going to take the same result on the dice. If you rolled 11, they're fighter, right, and you had a +4 bonus. The wizard here has a +2 bonus, that's 11 +2. Of course, what the players then do is we all team up. And so what I'll sometimes make a ruling of something like, okay, so we'll take the strongest bonus +4 and maybe half of the next best or something, because they've teamed up, but there is no point rolling dice outside of combat. It's what I usually do is I say, no, you're not under pressure. You will open the door. It's a locked door. You don't need to roll your pickpocket or whatever skill to pick the locks. You will just open it because you're not under pressure. You've got the time and the resources. Yes, fail forward, it's often called the yes but approach. Yes. Scott Poe corrects me.
Sorry, I did the wheel again.
Nathan H says, I don't have a problem with Critical Role. I have a problem with the kids who show up wanting to game, who worship the show but ignore the teamwork part of it and only play to have the limelight.
That sounds horrible.
It's my experience, really, that people who have been inspired by Critical Role and want to play a game like it, they often... The problem is, they themselves aren't a player like that.
No.
But they're expecting everyone else to be, and yet they aren't. That's the issue with it, and that is because they're not a professional voice actor and everything else. I think the vast majority of players come to the table with that issue.
Yeah.
Like, I know players who are very tactical, systemic players. who get bored if the role-playing's bad, but their role-playing is bad. You know, what do you do? So yeah, the issue is in the player. There is no easy solution to that, other than encouraging them to improve via various mechanisms. Trying to read the next post. So those actors in Critical Role are real friends, and that's why their gaming pulls us in their respect, chemistry, and teamwork. Yeah. I can understand that. You know, if you follow a group of people, you become kind of like a sports fan, don't you?
Yeah. Like people who follow our Monday group.
Yeah. Or one of them.
Yes. Well, I'm sure there's more, but maybe they don't chat, they just lurk. Ronnie says, I don't hate 5e, I'm enjoying the game we are playing. I just don't think it's as good as its reputation. I find the system's better, that's a personal matter of taste. Yeah, exactly. You like True 20, you like Falkenstein, you like Blue Rose, you like other systems with lots and lots of intrigue. But
I think them all as much the same.
Yeah. And 5e is, it's just another system that more people tend to play.
What I like about 5e, see, look, you mentioned a game earlier that I love, Corporation. Now, Corporation...
That is one of the supplements.
Yes, I'm getting a supplement out for a reason.
Okay.
See, Corporation has lots of these supplement books. And I think, you know, these are wonderful, right? You get all these new ideas and traditionally in a game like Shadowrun, this would be called a splat book, right? It gives you a load of new things you can use in your games.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with a system like this and these kind of splat books is that usually only one person at the table has them.
Yeah.
And it'll be the person running the game, and the players aren't as invested in the system.
Yeah, or you might get a character that okay, they play Comoros like that one there, and they think, oh yeah, I should probably buy this book as well, and I'll give it a read. So there might be a really invested player who gets one of the many.
It never happens.
No,
and so you never get to use all this other, all this other stuff. And Corporation thrives on these books. It's what makes the game so fantastic and varied and wonderful. And the problem is, no one else at the table has the book.
No.
So they're not even aware of the concepts that are covered in those books. And 5e doesn't have that problem. Because everyone's got it. Everyone knows the rules.
handbook.
And you know what? That's nice to play with. It's nice to play with players who know the rules and, you know, have all of the splat books.
You do sometimes, though, get people who've, you know, found a homebrew class of this, and
But,
or you get absurd.
Yeah, but you know what? I'd rather have that than have players who aren't invested in the system and don't have all the books.
Yeah.
And, you know, 5e solves that. Everyone knows it. Russell says if they fail, they fail and we move on.
Well, you missed Nathan's.
Nathan agrees with Ronnie on 5e. There's better stuff. Russell says if they fail, they fail and we move on. There isn't any rule that say we are successful all the time. Ronnie says he's not heard the term splat book in years. Nice to hear it again. Yeah, I'm old school, you know. Proper old school here.
That's the end of the chat.
It is, we've caught up. You know what that means?
Yes.
It's time for another week of RPG a day.
Ahem.
And I'm going to need to go to loo myself soon. So,
yes.
I believe the next one is actually mine, though. And it is... doing friendship, I think that's saying.
Friendship, yes.
Friendship.
The power of friendship. If you haven't seen Yu-Gi-Oh! In Bridge, it's...
My oldest friends are all RPGers. The friends that have stuck with me through the years are RPGers. And there's been a few RPGers that have come and gone. But I can't think of any old friend that I've got that is not an RPGer, because why would I bother being friends with them? You know, it's like nothing in common.
Yeah.
Maybe a mega gamer, but no, not really. No, it's
well, there've not been that many mega games this year anyway. So
done mega games for
No.
that long anyway.
No.
No, all my oldest friends. Like I have one friend that I knew from 4 years old.
Wow.
Who I know, not because of RPGs, because I hadn't started RPGing then, but we actually.
That would have been very like,
Okay, so we're gonna play
Okay.
some D&D. We're 4 years old.
don't know why that's
So
your voice. But...
he was a neighbour when I was 4 years old.
Mhm.
I lived about 4 doors down. I lived in this little hamlet of houses. We lived on the houses at each end of the hamlet, and there were like 7 kids. There was me, my brother, my sister. There was Louise and Georgina next door, and there was Martin and Paul at the other end of the row. Right, that was all the kids. And let me see. I moved out of there when I was 8 or 9, somewhere about then. When I was 17, I started working just round the corner. So I knocked doors. And Paul still lived there. Everyone else had moved on, but Paul still lived there. And it was kind of weird because, like, you know, I hadn't seen him in like 10 years and stuff. I was like working then, and we got talking. And he played RPGs, and he invited me along to an RPG group, and I'm like, I'm in art RPGs, cool, let's do it. And then that RPG group is where I met Stuart and Matt and Gavin, who's now doesn't really come anymore. You've not met Gavin.
I have not met Gavin, so he definitely doesn't come anymore. Hello.
But yeah, so my oldest friends are all RPGers and are kind of because of RPGs. I need to go to the bathroom, so I will leave you to answer mystery.
Mystery. They've even put some added question marks in the hex because it's super mysterious. So yeah, I love Call of Cthulhu. There's a lot of mystery in there, but you don't have to have mystery just surrounding kind of horror and investigatory things. You can have mystery in fantasy, sci-fi, all different genres, you know, modern, whatever you want. It's definitely a change of pace though, in terms of sort of, say, if you're doing sort of high action, high combat, things like that, lots of rolls, much slower. It's very much kind of, you get your sort of little ball of tension, it slowly grows and grows and grows until it comes to a head and poof, it explodes. And there are different ways to do this, like different ways to plan a mystery. I am a big fan of, especially with one-shots, things getting really dramatic at the end, whereas not everyone likes that. But I personally do like it. Also, if you're a GM, there's different techniques into planning a mystery, as opposed to other sessions, I think. Because you're kind of starting from the end and you're working backwards. There's a lot of orientation surrounding the NPCs, what they're doing, what their motives are. Say if it's a murder, let's take a murder for example. So you gotta think, okay, why are these people actually doing this? How do the players kind of clash with them? Do they clash with them at all? Or do they just kind of pick up the pieces? Hello.
Hello. So, is it me now?
Well, I was kind of finished, yeah, but I was basically saying that mystery doesn't have to be Cthulhu at all. It can be put into any kind of game. But yeah, think about how you would plan your session a bit differently. Again, the pacing is really the biggest change, so potentially slower, but with more kind of tension. It's sort of growing and growing and growing.
So the next
Rather
one
than
is
up and down.
Guide. Number
Cool.
14, Guide.
I'm going to go to the toilet.
Okay.
I'm guided
So-
to the toilet.
So Guide in an RPG context. So remove the uniform and the lemonade stand and the selling of cookies. And I suppose this could be an NPC in your adventure. The guide, the one that's guiding the heroes to the end of the, or to whatever plot MacGuffin that they're en route to. And I really don't like that character. Mostly because there's only 2 things you can do with the guide. They can either be honest and decent and take the players to that natural conclusion, in which case
why do they need a guide to do that? There's no complication added, there's no plot intrigue or twist. Or it's going to be a twist and that guide turns out to be a character that betrays the party, and I've seen that a few times already. What else can you do? You can make it what I call gold dragoning, which is where you get the super powerful hero that comes to your rescue, and that's terrible as well. So I hate having guides for the party. I try to leave the NPCs away from the actual adventure.
Got him.
Door is for you.
The door? The door? It's Charlie the Unicorn reference. We kind of already covered doors.
There are other doors.
Two away.
There's the most famous puzzle thingy in whatchamacallit film. I lie and I don't. And
Oh, Labyrinth!
Yeah, Labyrinth.
Yeah, that's true actually. So you can have, puzzle door.
Or there's the door in Tomb of Annihilation with the Sphere of Annihilation in it.
I'm not that familiar with the Tomb of Annihilation. I am, however, familiar with Death Trap Dungeon, where there is a door to the end of the dungeon, and there is a little annoying dwarf that insists that you give it various jewels, and if you haven't got them all, then you basically become his slave for the rest of your life. Because it's a choose your own adventure, so you haven't got the choice. There are doors in things, I'm just thinking of like horror, where you might have like a trap in there, where, I don't know, you try the door and then it kind of burns you or something like that. You kind of have to work out how to open it properly. There are doors to your imagination.
The next one is Dream, and that falls to me. And I have a dream.
Dream of a bygone age?
I have a serious dream. I've even taken my hat off because it's a serious moment. A dream.
Oh.
I have a dream.
Babe.
It's a speech.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, but you're not Martin Luther King.
No. I do have a dream though of an RPG in every home in Africa.
Ah.
Because we have been working with a charity this year called the Butterfly Project that is doing such amazing work bringing RPGs to some of the most underprivileged children in Uganda, in the north of Uganda, in the remote rural villages, and in the slums of Kampala, which is the capital of Uganda. And in speaking to these children, I've seen the difference that RPGs have made to their lives, that they can imagine better futures in a world that otherwise would have clamped down on their imagination. And they're creating opportunities for these kids. And it is really amazing to see. And I wish we could export geek culture to all of the underprivileged children in the world and make a real difference to their lives. And if you'd like to help with that cause, you can go to complas.live/donate.
That would be awesome.
Next one is for you, and it is 1.
1.
1. Just 1. Number 17 is 1.
That's...
I know what inspired
helpful.
it. It would be like, oh, a time you rolled a 1.
Oh,
The thing is that
yeah.
I hate, like, oh my god, people who can remember stories of dice. Have you ever watched Red Dwarf?
Not really, no.
Okay, in one of the early series, there's a character called Rimmer you must be familiar with, is quite annoying.
Or Smeg. Oh no, Rimmer's the one with
With the H on his head.
Oh, H, yeah, that's it. I could never work out why he was called Rimmer, but he had an H.
In one of the early seasons, it's either season 1 or 2, I think, he's telling the story to Lister of a time he played Risk.
Okay.
And he can remember every dice roll. It's like, and then Billy rolled a 7, and of course that meant this. And then it was my turn, and all I needed was one hit. And I rolled those dice, and it was snake eyes. And it's just like, oh my god, shut the fuck up already.
I have
Which
thought,
was his character.
I have thought of one for 1,
Okay.
which is my 1-hit kill on a big boss.
Ah.
Which was hilarious because the DM was really annoyed that I killed his character in one hit. But the way it was presented, I was a rogue. I was a few levels, so, you know, I was quite good at stuff. And sneak attack as well, of course, back in 3.5 was lethal. And there was a dark elf just standing in, like, the other side of the room for some reason, not really doing anything. And there were a few sort of bits of cover. So I said, okay, I'm going to kind of sneak up and try and take him out. Or at least surprise him. Okay, fine. Rolled really well on my stealth check. Didn't hear me at all. Went in for a surprise attack. Got a natural 20. Did ridiculous amounts of damage. Rolled really well on that. And it actually killed him. And the DM says, oh, that was supposed to be a boss. And it's actually really hard to kill somebody in 3.5. Like, you've got the whole kind of going to -10 stuff and all that. So it's hard. And I did in one hit. So it's like...
The next one is plenty. Oh, I could answer that very quickly. Dice, dungeons, miniatures. Moving on. It's time to catch up on chat.
I was going to say, we've reached a week.
Yes, so Ronnie says, most, if not all of my closest friends I met through RPGs, and I am blessed with every one of them. They have helped me through some of the very, very tough times when I thought I wouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already emotional after talking about the Butterfly Project. And Right, sorry, my mouse has gone all over the place.
It's not that, I think it's because of the window size and stuff. Russell says, as far as rule sets, they come and go. Good storytelling and role-playing are far more memorable than a set of rules. Yeah, exactly. No one kind of looks at D&D and goes, oh, don't you love this rule so much? It was so cool when this rule came in one time. No, you don't, do you?
No.
Ryan says, love a good mystery, as you've seen when you played in my Blue Rose game.
But I do remember fond memories of not having to deal with THACO anymore. I hated that.
What?
I actually avoid playing D&D for years because I so hated the THACO rule. I thought it was ridiculous.
Well,
and it was so badly put together as a system.
I played it, I can't remember what the system was called now, but it was a game with John Large. It was an OSR game X something, where there was THACO. And it was the first time I'd ever seen THACO because I'm a millennial and THACO was not a thing when I started playing. So I'm just like, oh, what is this? THACO spelled with a 0? What? It's a bit confusing.
Scott Poe says, the nefarious secret cult puppeteering a town is always a classic mystery. No, I missed the mystery discussion because I was in the loo, so to me it's a mystery.
It was kind of me explaining a whirlwind of things to do with mysteries and how to GM them and stuff.
Get it right. But hey, you can get the guide selling you cookies.
Yeah.
I made a reference to guide selling cookies. Sigil, City of Doors, of course. Yeah, that's a potential thing for we could have mentioned for Doors, but I don't know if you're necessarily familiar with Sigil.
No, I don't know.
Sigil is the city of brass in Planescape.
Oh,
that is the
right,
hub
City of
of all the planes. And it is full of doors to other dimensions of planes and stuff. Tomb of Annihilation was a bastard of a door. Yeah, I that was my second death, believe it or not. The Spear of Annihilation, which is the first door, and Tomb of Annihilation was my second death on that module, and I stopped playing after that. I thought, fuck me, this is really boring. Complas 2 will be an amazing convention, says Ronnie Bradley, and he is correct. I'll definitely be going to that. Has an H on his head because he is a hologram. Yes, indeed. The H was because he was a hologram.
Right.
Its computer could maintain exactly one hollow person. I didn't. Did you ask that question?
I said I got confused because he's called Rimmer, but he had an H.
Oh, I see. But yes, it is as they
Makes
say,
sense.
yes.
I did not know he was a hologram. Okay.
Yes, he has a hard light drive as of season 4 or 5 or something, so he can touch things at that point. But before then, he actually couldn't. Some of the early gags were when Lister walked through him and stuff. Then Nathan H says, oh, this is bouncing around.
He says, thank you for the work you are doing bringing RPG gaming to the youth in Uganda. Can you please post the link on the video when it's finished? Well, we could do better than that. We could do a Complus intro right now.
We could play the video and it's got the link on it.
Indeed, so write it down, pen and paper, at the ready.
In fact, why don't we go into a whole sequence of Pear of Geeks and Thingy? That's
Okay.
apparently not the right link. What am I doing?
I don't know.
Something's happened with the stream. Where's the thing? Because that's scrolled. Here we go. In hindsight, the web address isn't actually on the logo
I
we
thought
see.
it was.
Yes, so it is complus.live. So good morning, AJ. Welcome to the
morning,
channel. It's always good to
AJ.
have one of our. No, it isn't. I see you're not on this list, AJ.
Oh dear.
This list of the most awesome people in the world. What happened there? I'm disappointed. Right.
We did tell people to go vote for our video thing, yes. Thank you very much for voting as well. Every vote counts. I have not actually checked if we've had any more, so why don't I quickly do
I
that?
think it might only update overnight, but I'm not terribly sure. But
Okay.
if we've moved, we were top of page 6 if you order by most voted,
Right.
which puts us 81st.
Right, okay.
So yes, 81st position with our first ever film after one day of voting. I'm so. So yes, if you can help us get top 50, that would be really awesome because I'd like that. I'd like to be higher.
How do you get to the thing?
We're kind of live, babe.
I know, but I was
What's the next question on RPG?
Well,
again?
I'm just trying to find
I don't know
it.
what we're doing.
Okay, focus. No, door, dream, ancient.
It's the other end. Come back
one
the other
plenty.
way.
Oh
Scary.
god.
Scary. You, other
No,
end of scary.
Oh right. Okay. Scary.
This is for you.
Scary. Yes. Horror. Things that scare you. So, yeah, okay, so you've got your horror movies that are full of gore and stuff like that, but I think the real scary stuff is the psychological, the stuff that gets into your players' heads and confuses them, makes them feel vulnerable, like they don't know what's going on. And of course, with, you know, people from different backgrounds, you've got to be careful with certain things, especially if they're very kind of on the nose. But I love psychological stuff. I love, especially with things like Cthulhu and Shadows of Estrin, making things a bit ambiguous. Because what that does, whilst you're not presenting something scary yourself, it makes it scary for them because they interpret it in a different way. Or they might have second thoughts and think, well, hold on, which is it? It could be either. Oh my god, I don't know. And it sort of makes them psychologically panic a little bit. So ambiguity, creepiness, psychological scariness.
We did a whole video on how to GM horror.
We did, yes we did.
Which is what these guys are going to experience if they don't sort out this voting thing, because we've dropped to 82nd. We have lost a place during the course of this stream.
My god.
So
Come on people, go and vote!
I'm hurt. Like, literally talking to our friends right now, and they've not been voting for us. We've lost a place.
AJ, however, says, fine, you can add me to your bit of paper.
You have to pay for that, AJ. You don't get that for nothing. Okay, so the next one is Noble, number 20, Noble. I like doing games with nobles, but I think so often they are not done correctly. Now, sometimes they are, and I've played in some good ones where they've been done right. Now, the key thing, I think, in doing a game that features nobles is not to go cross-empire or cross-country.
Yeah.
Don't fall into the trap of countries invading countries. It is perfectly acceptable and viable to run a game of noble intrigue within one country and within one kingdom, if you're going to use a kingdom. And the best inspiration, I think, is to look... There was something that used to happen in Britain that ended really at some point during the Wars of the Roses with the Battle of Nibley Green.
there used to be private battles. Lords would actually fight battles against other lords for various reasons. Might be control of a castle or something. There was one. It was one of the last private battles in Britain that was fought over a castle on the east coast.
Yeah.
Now, this castle had been owned by a knight who became a knight in the 100 Years' War, but when he went off to that war, or when he was born, he was a peasant. It was an interesting character. Shakespeare actually wrote a play on him. But he'd been born a peasant. Now, when he died, he left his castle to another peasant family, the Peston family, Norfolk. But the Mowbray, the Duke of Norfolk, didn't like that, because this was a castle in his domain, in his county, that was being given to a peasant family. And he said it was his birthright to inherit that castle, as he was the Earl, I think, actually, of Norfolk. Maybe Duke, not sure which way around. Anyway, he insisted it was his. So he raised an army and took it.
Wow.
He got his hired men, hired some mercenaries, and took the castle with the siege.
Right.
That kind of thing happened a lot. The property disputes happened a lot. So, yeah, you don't need different empires to be fighting against each other. The beautiful thing about using hired mercenaries is that's where you can bring in adventurers, and you can get them involved in the politics of the realm. And one of the advantages, I think, of doing noble type games and intrigue type games in this way is you keep the players in the same region of the map, and that means they get to learn it, they get invested, they get friends and contacts in that realm. Whereas if you do the traditional Empires at War game, you don't get that. You travel outside of your realm, and everything you learn about the game and your world and the empire you're from in the first few sessions becomes irrelevant the moment you've moved on.
Or maybe there's some kind of twist about, the empire that you're familiar with, supposedly, but actually you're not that familiar with because you spent all your time away from it. Sort of thing.
Right. Next one is vast.
Well, we were just talking about vastness with going from empire to empire. This is my one, though, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yes. So, yeah, vastness. How do you set your world? Is it in quite a small place, or is it huge? There are plenty of GMs where they kind of design their entire world first before they've even thought about what their campaign is going to be like. There are people who play for sort of years and years, like decades, who also have like a homebrew world, and then there might be a campaign set on this continent or in that city, but it's still this sort of vastness of the whole world and stuff. So yeah, it's a case of when you have your setting, is it already big to begin with? Is it something that grows out? Is it something where there's the potential of it being so sort of big and kind of on an epic, vast scale, but still kind of geographically fairly confined? Or is it like Lord of the Rings, where they go on a 13-month journey to the ends of the earth?
So the next one is Lost, which was a terrible show.
I never actually saw Lost.
Oh, it started off brilliantly, but they just didn't know what they were doing with this whole show, and they just kind of thought, we should make something up now. We're in like the 4th season, and it was terrible. So Lost, a time when I got lost with RPGs.
That sounds a bit dramatic.
Yeah, I suppose it could if phrased that way. I was thinking actually of a time I got lost in a game, but I don't think I've ever been lost because of RPGs, but I would argue RPGs have been there for me when I've been lost. At the deepest, darkest moments of my life, but that's a bit too melodramatic. So, a time I got lost... actually, I want to kind of twist the meaning a little bit to a time I lost interest in the game.
Ah, okay.
Because I remember playing this module once, and my group hadn't played a module in years, and we decided we would play a module as per the book. And this damn module had had random encounters at fixed times every morning and every evening. There was a random encounter at a fixed time of day.
Right.
And we had about 2 weeks of travel to get to the first thing, and then more travel after that. And after 4 months of going to this game and grinding through random encounters...
That sounds so boring.
I said to the GM, I said, look, I'm so sorry, I can't carry on this game. I'm so hacked off with it. It's just endless random encounter after random encounter. And he said, oh no, not all of these are random encounters. Some of them have been actual scripted events. I said, I know, the witch's hovel, but it felt exactly the same as a random encounter, just that it had a terrain element for once.
Wow.
And it's just enough fights. I can't handle this game. It's too dull. And that hasn't happened to me often. Like, not normally have games been so bad that I've had to say to the GM, I'm sorry, I cannot play this. We're both getting a bit tired. It is quite late here. But we have more to do. You are doing...
We do.
Surprise!
I'm a little bit stunned with this one. I was trying to think maybe a
I'm
plot
not.
that surprised me.
Because it immediately makes me think of first edition surprise rules, and in fact how badly GMs handle surprise now. So many times, right, a GM will handle surprise by essentially letting the players attack first, meaning then the monsters must attack. So then then that must mean the players attack, and that consequently, because they've had surprise, they basically haven't done initiative. And I can't remember what's in 5th Ed, but I do remember what's in 1st Ed, and I much prefer it, and that's how I handle surprise. And that is, if one side, if the players or the monsters get surprise, they get around where they do stuff. Then we roll initiative.
Okay.
Now, the monsters don't get... if the players surprise the monsters don't act. If the monsters surprise the players don't act.
Okay.
It is a surprise round. And then I'll roll initiative. And that's how I like to do it. It's a first edition thing, and I've kept it the same. I don't even remember what's in the 5e book.
They have it in 3.5 as well, a surprise round.
It might even be in 5e. But I've seen it so often in games I've played in with other GMs.
I don't believe you get a surprise round, you get a surprise attack. So you get extra damage.
You
or
should
an
still then be
advantage or
rolling initiative
something,
afterwards, so it's
like that.
kind of the same thing. It just...
Yeah. I suppose, yes, surprise for me was you lot in the Cthulhu campaign had instances of being surprised at events that were turning and things like that, especially in terms of the two clashing factions where you think, wait, they're the baddies, no, wait, they're the baddies. Which one's the baddies? Maybe they're both, I don't know. Maybe they're working, maybe they're working together, I don't know. And yeah, it was a good surprise.
Triumph. This one's for me, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but I won the Cthulhu Masters on my first ever attempt.
Yes, you
Triumph.
did.
The word is triumph.
Yes. Yes, you did.
That's kind of like a major RPG tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's a big deal. I won first attempt. Got to the final on my second attempt. Like, in terms of RPG credentials, there shouldn't be any other RPG channels on YouTube. I have the creds, they don't. Get out of here.
Moving on, just to dampen your ego a bit, we've got to Calamity. Ooh, yes.
That'd be my performance in the final for the last 2 years. Oh, yeah, sorry, I did final next year and the year after that. I've been final 3 times. Just thought I'd mention that.
I did not get into the final the 1 year I played because of a coin toss.
But that's just not right.
No. Calamity. I can think of a perfect Calamity, which was in the Corporation game where we were kind of destroying everything and Princess Elizabeth wanted to rule India and it was all absolutely crazy. In that it seemed no matter what we did, it just led to more people being killed and it just got so overblown with, well, calamity.
Yes. Sorry, I was the GM for that one, and yes, it was it was kind of a mission each week to make it more and more outrageous.
Yeah. And you definitely did that very well, yes.
Yeah. Right, so time to catch up on some chat,
Yes.
and then we'll do the final week, and then we'll go to bed. Oh my god, bed.
Yes.
So, AJ says,
Oh, no. Okay, here we go.
finding an empty bit of paper. I know Becky points at Patreon email. Does that mean he's rejoining us? I don't know.
I think so.
Hope
Thank
so.
you very
Hope so.
much.
I want your money. Right, it's getting really hard to do this chat.
Yeah, he says, that's pretty mean, those poor peasants, talking about the battle thing. You know, all the roses with the peasants.
Oh,
and stuff.
yeah. Well, people went to war for fight for lords for really ennoble causes.
Next point, though, that's a very good point. With D&D and all those deities, because yes, there are a lot of deities in D&D, you would think there would be religious wars going on all the time.
Well, I have an answer to that.
I mean, there's even different gods that are put into,
I can
like,
explain why it's not the case.
good and evil. So there's... Yeah, why do they not?
Right, I can't see the book right now, probably because I burned it in fire. But if you've
Oh,
ever
Sword
read
Coast.
Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, you will realise
Yeah.
that there is at least one person behind D&D with a serious hard-on for religion. In fact, Gary Gygax himself was very religious. Whoever put together the Sword Coast book had such a hard-on for religion, because it constantly talks about religion in this book, pages upon pages upon pages upon pages, to the extent there are something like 7 lawful good gods of war in the same pantheon.
Oh my god.
Before you move on to lawful neutral, and it's just like, it's just insane numbers of gods. What you begin to realise, and also this is kind of codified into the alignment system as well, is there is this perception in the D&D books that religion is perfect. Religion is what is good in the world. That religion can do no wrong and is not evil. Because if you look at what alignment basically is, alignment is, are you Christian? If you're good, what does that mean? In D&D, specifically, it means Christian values.
Well, yes, you do have lawful good versus chaotic good, though.
Yeah.
So you take the law as good,
Yeah,
or you
yeah.
take morality as good.
Yeah, but the point is, the good is Christian. And it's very much, that is what it is. And that shouldn't be in D&D, really. But it's kind of codified into the game that religion is perfect. And it's not. And unfortunately, Fate Forge does have alignment. I have no intention of using it. This is one of the reasons why I don't even run alignment in my games. I just think it's a terrible inclusion to D&D and should be burned with fireball. So that's why there are so many deities in D&D, and why there's no religious wars. It's because religion is apparently perfect.
You mean deities?
Yes, that's what I said.
You said deities.
Well, I want to lose weight. Ronnie says, I figured out the twist of Lost within 5 minutes of the first episode was dull.
Mm-hmm. Again, I
remember
never
what the twist
watched
was.
it.
AJ says, I only watched Lost because there was this alien invasion show on right after it. Then they... chat thing has got hard to scroll. Then they cancelled the good show, so I stopped watching Lost. AJ says, DMs who make everyone roll initiative at the start of every round are not my friends. No, I roll initiative at the start of combat, and then I just follow that initiative order. I just prefer that, but I'll do a surprise round before initiative if there is a justifiable reason for surprise. AJ says, you won Cthulhu? Are you sure you were playing it right? No. I didn't win Cthulhu. I won the Cthulhu Masters role-playing tournament. That is not the same as winning Cthulhu. I seem to recall that character that I won with was very much insane by the end. Well, no, actually, it had technically been insane the whole time, and it was kind of the reveal of just how twisted that character was that won me the tournament. Anyway, AJ says, the only character I ever had live through a Cthulhu game was fine, except he was addicted to eating books.
I think there's a condition card now where you get a mania where you're obsessed with books and you can eat them and stuff like that.
And Ronnie says, Corporation was just insane and I loved it. Good, I'm going to run it again. Only more insane. I don't know how I can do that.
Yes.
Like, the dial is already up to 15. How do I get it to 16? I don't know.
Well, I'm sure you'll find a way.
Right, whose is the next one? Is it mine?
What is it?
We're back to RPG a week, and the word is
idea. Yes, it is yours. I did Calamity.
Okay, idea. God, I'm just looking at the rest I've got. They're quite tricky. I've got love and connection. Oh, kind of weird words. Idea. I mean, I get ideas all the time, and I think part of that is because RPGs have helped to make me so creative as an individual. I think I can classify myself as a quite creative person. I've created games all my life, and you know, that grew from my love of RPGs and playing board games, and you know, all the person I've become is because of RPGs, and I've become this ideas-driven creative person. I'm very thankful to RPGs for that.
Yeah.
Suspense.
Yes, obviously I'm not having as much suspense now. Suspense. You can start your gaming sessions with a big bang, metaphorically speaking, of course. You can end a session on a cliffhanger. There are points, say in the middle, just before you take a break, where there's this big twist that comes about. You know, suspense is something where the players are intrigued as to what will happen next. It's quite often a big, impactful thing in the plot itself. But also you might have, you know, I don't know, a more kind of like a longer point, like an encounter even, where there's a lot of suspense. Perhaps there's somebody, I don't know, suspended in a cage above a lava pit whilst the fight is going on. So there's that kind of thing of, oh my god, we've got to save that character, but also I'm getting attacked by this thing in front of me. So yeah, suspense is good at sort of high climactic moments, whether in plot or out of plot. Don't use them all the time because then they lose their impact, but at the same time, yes, it is definitely a thing you should be using in your games.
Okay. The next word, number 28, is love. And I met the love of my life through RPGs.
Yes.
Slash YouTube.
Slash YouTube.
It all began with a YouTube comment. Yes, if you leave a comment on my videos, it's entirely possible I could marry you. No, come back. Evolve.
Evolve. See, the thing is, evolve just makes me think of Pokemon. But no, I think I very much evolved as a player and as a DM. When I started playing, I really only wanted to play one type of character. I didn't talk that much, and when I did, it was just very kind of, I do this or I do that, you know, no role playing. And it took me a while to get into actually role playing, and then I realised, oh my god, I don't know what I've been missing. I didn't realise what I'd been missing. And then as a DM, I was interested in becoming a DM after maybe a year of playing, because it's like, well, you know, you kind of feel like you know more things if you DM. But I've also evolved with that. For my first ever scenario I wanted to run, I did like reels and reels and reels and reels of paper. I had no idea how to run games. And then I eventually did do my first live game, and I learnt a lot from it, and now I'm here and I've done tournaments, convention games, long games, short games, various different systems, and I think I'm quite good.
What's my next word?
Your next word is connection.
Well, I've made a lot of connections
Oh, yes, you have.
with RPGs,
We both
particularly since Con+1 and now Con+2, which is running on October 11th to October 13th. The convention has enabled me to meet so many people in the RPG space, and so many people that I just wouldn't have gotten to meet. Like we spoke earlier about interviewing some of the people who created Pathfinder and Starfinder. I've met Ian Livingston.
Mm-hmm.
I've had several conversations with Ian that weren't even on for being recorded. We just chatted. I've met
There's the Chaosium
Matthew
people.
Strange. I played a game with Mike Mason. He ran Call of Cthulhu for me. He is like, there are two Mr. Cthulhus, one in America and one in Britain.
Yeah,
Mike
Sandy
Mason
Peterson
is
and
the
Mike
Britain.
Mason. Yeah.
It's been phenomenal and wonderful, and you've even got a writing gig out of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, watch this space.
Mm-hmm.
And I might, if I ever get time to finish something.
Yeah.
And last is last.
Our
last word, and then we'll catch up and chat and go to bed, because I'm tired.
What the hell do we say for last? Because how will we know what our last game will be?
Yeah, but you know what your last game was.
Yes. It was the Monday night game. Where what did we even do? We travelled a lot, and God, I can't remember much about that game actually. Even though it was only a few days ago.
How about the last character you created, or the last campaign you ran,
Well, that's easy.
or the last scenario you wrote? You can't really talk about that though, can you?
No, I can't talk about that, just in case it's published or used somewhere else, but I can talk about the last campaign, which was my Call of Cthulhu campaign, set in the 80s in Virginia, which I've talked about loads, and it's in a playlist in Pear of Geeks 2, but it's one of my favourite campaigns I've run, and it was very good fun, and you were all great. And
One of the best opening sessions I've ever been in.
Yeah, thank you.
That was really good.
Yeah, I was really worried about that session and keeping up the pacing and thinking, is it, getting a little bit dry in the middle because I'm kind of struggling a little bit with the improv, but no, it was all good.
Look, it's epic. It was epic. I never fought a monster like that before.
Wow. Cool.
Apparently we made it. We
We
got to the end of
made it.
RPG a day for August
It even
this
says
year.
you made it.
So, let's catch up on chat. Oh, we have. You know what that means? It means we can go to bed.
Yes.
Because we're both yawning quite a
Well,
lot.
I was yawning,
We
but
seem to
actually
have
I'm alright.
outlasted most of the chat. I think everyone has fallen asleep.
Yes.
So, with that, we will say good night to you all, and have great weeks. We will see you next week. We'll keep streaming every Friday as we do, and thank you all for your support. Please go vote for our film. Please, because we've dropped to 82nd whilst we were on air. And
Come
that's
on,
no good.
people, vote for us, please.
Want to get top 50? It'll be so awesome. Actually, I said before we knew we were 81st, it'd be awesome to be top 100.
Ronnie says he's
But
still
yes.
here.
Yay!
And Scott is still here.
Yay!
And Phil is still here. Now
Thank
you're
you.
talking, aren't you?
Good night, take care, and we'll see you next week. Do you want to hit the button?
I will hit the button.
Here it comes.
Bye!
There's a dialogue.
Oh.